What's up, Mets fans? Welcome to the Mets Watch Party live right here on both of our channels. We got myself and CP here with us today to watch the Mets and Phillies in Philadelphia, and we're going to bring you the live action and our instant reactions throughout the game. We're going to have a little different setup here than you're used to, specifically on my channel where usually game day is up, but game day and StreamYard are not best friends anymore, so we have to figure out something else. And I'm going to do some live scoreboard watching right there as I change the scores throughout the game. And you'll get to come in and know what the score is, know what inning it is, and all that. You got the lineups and all that fun stuff for the Mets and the Phillies and the starting pitchers, Joey Lucchesi and Ranger Suarez. And let's say what up to the man with the Mets flag behind him. Chris, how you doing?
I'm great. You always seem to outdo yourself with these graphics, Rob. I love it so much. Obviously, you have to pivot with StreamYard being absolutely annoying with the whole game day, but this looks great. And hopefully this team looks great tonight because we're on an in-game live stream. We do have, I don't know if we're gonna get into it before this game with the negativity and everything that else that's been coming with this team so far and this offense that just absolutely looks lifeless. But you know what? It's a brand new day. It's a brand new night. And we're here talking about some Mets baseball. And the beautiful thing about baseball, I say this every single time, you get to do it again the next day. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what the Mets have in front of them. Another opportunity. Let's get after it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? We can bring up a couple of things from yesterday. I mean, the lifeless offense. Nola pitched great. He pitched a complete game. The Mets had no chance yesterday. I mean, it was quite obvious. Very early on, it just seemed like they were just never going to get the big hit. Couldn't get enough people on base, and it was just maddening and frustrating, especially with the loss in Game 1 of the series at Citi Field, where we should have won that game. That's another game that the Mets blew that they could have easily won that game. And we keep on talking about they still haven't hit 20 wins yet. And we've been talking about how easily they could have had well over 20 wins at this point, but they did it. So changes are happening, and David Stearns is not sitting back and collecting his paycheck. He is actually putting in some work by recalling Mark Vientos and DFA and Joey Wendell, which I know a lot of people are very excited about. And now Beatty and Vientos are going to be platooning now, and Vientos is getting a start, as you can see in the lineup. So what do you think about that move? That really came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think it was a necessary move to reinvigorate or re-energize or at least try to re-energize this lineup. Obviously, it's been lethargic. Pete Alonso has been coming around so ever so slowly. I know he didn't really have, I don't think he had a hit yesterday, but nonetheless, in the prior 5 games, he's had a multitude of extra base hits. The OBP is going up to 314, slugging percentage is going up, everything's going up in the last 5 games. I know it's a short sample size, but really we talk about a hot Pete Alonso and a hot JD Martinez, but those guys in the bottom of the lineup are not getting it done. Brett Beatty's one of them, Jeff McNeil's another, and obviously Harrison Bader as well is just not getting it done so far right now. So I think that this lineup is a very unique one that you see on your screen here right next to Rob. I like Pete Alonso in the 2-hole. We have JD Martinez cleaning up, and then we have Mark Vientos as that protection for Mr. JD Martinez. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, Mark Vientos took that send down the last go around personally. Hopefully, he took it personally, and hopefully, he opens up this front office's eyes and says, I am here to stay with the big club. Joey Wendell obviously has a major league deal or had a major league deal with the Mets, so DFAing him was a little bit of a surprise. I really thought the Mets were going to try to save face and sort of back their decision by not making any actions on Joey Wendell, but it just simply couldn't happen. David Stearns cuts his losses. He's a smarter man than that. He knows that it was a wasted investment, and he's just going to cut ties and wipe his hands clean with that. It was a bad decision and an off season that I really thought objectively and still do was full of good decisions, not wow you decisions, but decent decisions. And the Jose Buto thing, I understand it's just a procedural move. I understand that he's going to be back. I understand all that good stuff, but he is going to miss out on one of his next scheduled starts. He's not going to be able to get recalled for the next, I think, about 9 or 10 days. So any start that Buto might have had right here in the next 5 days or so is not going to happen anymore. And you take a risk on Joey Lucchesi because last time I checked, Joey Lucchesi really hasn't looked great in the minor leagues in his starts. So we'll see what happens tonight.
Yeah, I think he's trying to catch lightning in a bottle with Joey Lucchesi. And listen, David Stearns, if you got options left, he's going to use them regardless of if you deserve or not deserve to be up here still. If he decides that you got to go down just for we can get a fresh arm or just to see a new face, he's going to do it. And unfortunately for Jose Buto, he's been battling, but he has been struggling. And you just it's procedural, like he said. And I'm not gonna kill anything that David Stearns does because I feel like he's not afraid to admit a mistake and try to fix it. Right? Joey Wendell is his guy, even though it's not a big deal as the bench guy, but he's not doing the job, and he always puts the team in front of himself. And I felt like Billy Epler, Sandy Alderson, Brody, they all did not do that. Look, Billy Epler was a prime example with Vogelback. Vogelback did not deserve to be on that team anymore, and he kept them in there. So the game is about to start. Mets Phillies. We're gonna take you through tonight. It's a weird 6:40 start because Philadelphia doesn't do anything normal. So 6:40 it is. So
I hate these 6:40 starts, Rob. I hate them.
I mean, for somebody who works overnight, it kind of works, but I don't like. It's just off. Right now I could be eating before I start the game at 7:10. But it's Philly. What are you gonna do? But once again, guys, we're gonna have the audio for you, the game audio. So make sure you listen up throughout the game. You're gonna have the score at the bottom of your screen throughout the game, top, bottom of the inning, whatever it might be, and of course our instant reactions during the game and our thoughts and opinions during commercial break. So Mets are starting. Damn, they started the game that quickly. Okay, all right, guys. So
And we're off.
That came out of nowhere. Here we go. Brandon Nimmo leading off.
Run against the Braves on Sunday night. And Suarez goes to the off-speed pitch and gets to that 0-2.
Look at that 7-0 record, 1.50 ERA for Ranger
Very
Suarez.
good.
Jeez.
7-0 this year. He's got a 9-game winning streak go back to last year. That whip at the bottom, 0.72. There just hasn't been anybody on base against him.
Hung up in there for the center fielder. Some decent contact, but
Oh, he dropped it. All right.
he dropped
You got
it.
You got a break?
He dropped it. I didn't even see that.
I put my head down thinking he was just going to catch it.
Wow, he did. What a weird way to start the game, Rob. Holy cow.
Hey, I'll take it, buddy. We need some breaks.
We do. Rob Thompson is not thrilled right now in that dugout.
2 hands, baby. Come on, Pete.
Definitely closed his eyes as the ball hit the side part of his glove.
Yep.
And noted the whip on Suarez, 8 walks in 54 innings.
Ah. All right.
Let's see now. Suarez has made 8 starts. He's won 7. Phillies have won all 8. On the pitcher whose team has won his first 8 starts with a big flat low start of season. Back before 1910. That's how historic this beginning to the season has been for Ranger Suarez.
Hopefully we're synced up tonight, Rob. I'm not sure if you're ahead of me by a millisecond or not, but hopefully
I
we're
think
synced
by
up.
like maybe less than a second, like you said.
Yeah.
Pitches right-handers inside, and he's not a fireball.
Easy. Eric Chavez should be feeling some heat. Absolutely.
Yep.
Already.
I don't know. It seems like Hefner has a lifelong contract. He's like Brian Cashman.
Seriously, he's just sticking around. You can't get rid of him.
No. Come on, Pete.
OPS against Suarez's changeup this year is 457. Not the batting average, the OPS. 457.
No, that's not a strike, dude.
Oh, now you're ahead of me.
Oh, I am ahead of you? Okay. Apologies. But that was not a strike. I'm sorry.
And your Philly defense brought to you by Defender.
Alonso's home run prop is plus 850. That's insane.
Especially in that ballpark.
Yeah.
Christian Ponce gets the first start of this series. It's considered still the same series. It's all a matter of opinion.
Seems like Lindor here, even on that take, I'm noticing just a little bit of a different sort of stance and a load from him. It's kind of interesting.
Is it like a little bit more of a calmer type of stance, like a little bit more relaxed stance? A little bit more bend in the knees?
No, I think, yeah, and I think it's a little bit more bend in the knees, and I think it's a little bit more exaggerated because usually he's very like hands on the shoulder, doesn't really move until the last second. I think it's a little bit more exaggerated in his motions right now. But he gets hit by the pitch the very next pitch. So
First and second, 1 out.
all right. The inevitable runners in scoring position, Rob. This is where the Mets need to cash in.
Yep.
Let's go, JD.
So 2 men aboard for JD Martinez moved up to the cleanup spot.
Well, JD's been good, man.
JD went 3 for 7 in the series in New York with a couple of doubles and 2 RBIs. It's a working night in Philadelphia.
We'll take a little ground ball to that right side between that first baseman and second baseman. It seems like they're giving it to him, holding on Brandon Nimmo at second base. And look at that wind with those flags. Holy cow.
It's blowing in, too.
Oh, pulls it. Oh, he trapped it. Wow.
Oh.
This is a good short hop play by the shortstop, but
Nothing you can do there except tip the cap.
yeah. Wow. That was the shortest of hops. That's crazy.
That almost went under his glove, too.
Yeah. Shout out everybody in the chat, by the way. Make sure y'all are hitting that thumbs up. We definitely appreciate y'all being here. Come on, Vientos. Is Daniel spoiling it?
No, he said he won't. Oh, he did spoil it.
Vientos, let's go!
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby.
That's how you make an impact. That's how you tell this front office you're not going back down. I love it. Wow.
Well,
first pitch
there you
swinging
go.
as well.
That's what we needed, boys.
Woo!
That's what we needed.
First pitch fastball heading.
First pitch swinging, Rob. I always say I always go after Brett Beatty and I always go after Jeff McNeil, letting that first pitch go right by them in their wheelhouse. And this is exactly why, because when you get it on the first pitch,
yep,
that's what you do with it right there.
Vientos drives in his 3rd run of the year. And the Mets have 2nd and 3rd with 2 down for Starling Marte. Down to number 6 spot of the batting.
Well, David Stearns' move worked already.
You almost knew it was going to happen, too. The writing was on the wall with the way he got sent down last time.
Yeah.
Against Philadelphia. Including a couple of hits yesterday. And as far as misses inside, it's 2-0.
Cash in on runners in scoring position with 2 outs. That is something the Mets have not done a good job of.
Nope.
Oh, great play by Alec Boehm to rob Marte of an RBI, maybe even 2.
Damn. All right, I'll take a run.
We'll take it. We will take it. Listen, Mark Vientos, if you all at home literally did not just witness what we all just witnessed here with Mark Vientos swinging first pitch. This is why I hate the let's stop swinging at first pitch crap narratives, because when you get as a professional hitter, especially when you're in the 5 spot, the 4 spot, the 3 spot in the middle of the order, that first pitch fastball, which that was a fastball if I'm not mistaken, is going to be your best pitch, because guess what? If he throws it over for a strike and you watch it go by, he's going to give you the off speed. And you could be down 0-2 right from there. And you're never going to see a fastball that good again in the at-bat. And that's what I love. Shout out to Mark Vientos. Much needed. Great start to this game.
Well, it's a good start to the game, and we see if Joey Lucchesi can pitch better than the minors, because that's been the big problem with him right now. And don't mind me, guys. I'm setting up the box score right now for you guys. I promise.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this as right as possible.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And Daniel, I feel you. I hear what you're saying about working counts, but with runners in scoring position like that, first and second base, I see it time and time again. We saw with Jeff McNeil and Brett Beatty the last go around. They just watch that first pitch, and then they get fed the off speed. They watch that go by for a strike, and then they strike out. And I'm sick and tired of watching it. So I have no complaints with what Mark Vientos just did right there. And MEZ, it is not Quintana. It is Joey Lucchesi tonight.
Joey Lucchesi.
Yeah.
But we'll see if
Easy. I don't care if I'm annoying. It's a fact. It's a literal fact. I could be annoying all I want to be, and you can sit there and watch the results happen in front of you, and you can keep denying it. So it's just the fact of the matter of that. If you want to be wrong, you can be wrong. Up to you.
Well, the fact was, what did Vientos do? He went after the first pitch for a guy who's been one of the best pitchers in baseball. Hey, Justin, long time no see, buddy. Yes, Justin, we are unfortunate souls, unfortunately. We watch this team because we're idiots, but we'll keep on going. But here we go. Joey Lucchesi, 1-0 Mets, bottom of the first.
Kyle Schwarber will lead off for the Phillies. Schwarber hits a two-hopper to McNeil. One pitch by Lucchesi. He's got his first out.
The City Met defense, Vientos, of course, at third base. Struggling McNeil at second base. Alonso been struggling. Nino behind the plate. Bader back in center field. A good, solid defensive outfield right there.
He's sitting tonight against the lefty. We'll see what transpires in coming days. JT Realmuto, for the first time since Saturday, takes a call strike. Muto was a hot hitter when he had to sit out for a few days.
But it is a misty rain right now.
Of course, the rain's got to come.
You know, it would be a damn shame if this game gets delayed. I would hate that.
Of course it would. It's 6:40 start. Why would it be nice and early?
London.
It's pouring.
Muto fouls off the first curve.
Oh.
Ethan, you are ahead of us, but I'm going to just take your word that JT Realmuto struck out. I like it. If it's positive, keep it coming. Keep the spoilers
Yes,
coming.
it is. I agree.
Dude, it is pouring. What the hell?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You see that? And this is like what I see right here on my screen, Rob. You see that 90-mile-per-hour fastball. That's what Jose Quintana needs to do, especially if he's up in the count, because that wasn't a fat, or was that a changeup? I'm not really sure exactly what that was. But what he was doing was pitching one ball off the plate, but it still remained competitive enough to get him to swing, which we talk about all the time.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah. I mean, he's putting people away, and that's the important part, right? We talked about that with the Mets pitching.
Yeah.
Fouls off the first offer from Lucchesi, so the Phillies have come out very aggressively against Lucchesi, who every time he was called upon last year came up and pitched a gem. Remember his first start last year at San Francisco? Mets have been really struggling to get any length out of their starters. And he went 7 scoreless. Taking outside a ball and strike.
And again, he wants a new ball. This misty rain, you're probably going to see a lot of that. And it's sort of blowing in a little bit to the left field, but in.
Yeah, right out of the northeast.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh,
And Harper flies one out to left.
home run for Bryce Harper. Tie game 1-1.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
All right. Well, Joey Lucchesi start off on fire. Then you get a Mickey Mouse home run on a Mickey Mouse ballpark to the opposite field. No, I'm just kidding. Bryce Harper's a stud. That's a great piece of hitting, man. That's a great piece of hitting.
Took it the other way.
Yeah. Great piece of hitting.
Fastball, middle, he decides he takes it where it's pitched.
Oh.
That's how strong he is.
It is coming down over there, or either that or it's just misty. I'm not really sure, but that was a shot that he hit.
I don't know. It's a weird. It looks like just a mist.
It could be a mist.
It's like, it's probably warm with the little bit. Oh, no. They showed a close up. It looks like it's raining. Like it's raining kind of hard.
Oh, we're in for a long night then if it's going to be delayed, Rob.
Of course.
Shy part.
Oh, the Baker ball. The Baker ball, right. Twice. Swing and a miss for sure.
It's
That
like
messed him
bone
up.
slipping in there.
Bowman has really
Yeah, he just slipped in that box.
Bowman has a player. Got beat there.
They're gonna delay this game.
They definitely will.
Starts the night, fifth for the National League at batting, third in RBI, top 10 in both on base and slugging. So great start.
Gonzalo, I don't know.
2 strikes. Would be next.
Listen, that's why look, Mendoza gets paid the big bucks to figure that out, right? They have a plan if that happens. They do.
Brett Beatty's your second baseman at that point.
Yep.
Strikes tonight. He's got a unique pitch. He's also got a unique to
He does. Yeah. The spots, arms, legs.
Justin. Oh boy.
We've seen that one before, huh?
Unconventional.
Yes, we have.
It's difficult for a hitter to pick up.
Another walk.
This is away with the second for ball.
Oh.
Had him 0-2.
Turned into a tie ball game, and now at least 15 pitches in this first inning. I mean, if they started the game, they clearly knew this rain might have came. So I don't know if it's just like a pass through that, or it's gonna stay light like this.
It looks like it's dying down a little bit right now. It doesn't look as bad, so it could just be a pass through. I'm no weatherman though.
Right there. Castellanos, first ball hitter, doesn't matter what, 50%.
All right, get out of this, please.
Second highest first pitch swing rate in the major leagues.
How many times in your first at bat at the game did you swing at the first pitch? Maybe 5% of my career. Only when I was red hot.
Oh,
It's almost the same pitch that he rung Pete Alonso up on
Yep.
last half inning.
yep.
To be honest, also the highest
Already
pitch
not
rate
consistent.
today. That rate has been coming down lately as he has picked it up.
All right, you got him 1-2 now.
Start.
What do you do?
Don't
He was
hang
sitting
that.
on that breaking ball.
It was.
So streaky that he'll have these high chase
Maybe you sneak a fastball by him.
He doesn't miss a thing. So in between there, that average is.
Steven says you've been missed, Rob.
Her image is a pretty
Thank you.
style.
I feel missed.
And JD Martinez, very similar style of hitting.
I know you're under the weather. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, like yesterday, I just felt terrible, and I actually went to work because I felt better in the morning, and then I got home, I slept a little bit, and I'm good. It's weird. It's quick.
Maybe you're just tired.
Maybe, who knows? I'm always tired, so I never know anymore.
Once you come to Castellanos. Now, working on the stands. Back from Casey for all the deception and all the serves. Mostly just
So is this a split? If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember. Is this a split 2-2 at each ballpark?
Yep, because of London.
Okay. Got it. That's what I remember. Okay, got it.
All right, that's popped
All right.
up. Oh shit! Remember he sees it. Okay.
No, he's got it.
Oof. All right. So Harper ties the game, going to the top of the second, 1-1. Yeah, I mean, it was all right by Joey Lucchesi, but the walks are dangerous, obviously, especially with this
Yep.
Phillies lineup. They are the best team in baseball record-wise. They're dangerous. I still don't believe they're as good as their record says. I've said this for a while. I think the Phillies are kind of not as good as their record is. I don't believe so. I don't think so. Like they played nobody really over 500. And again, you beat the teams on your schedule. That's what you're supposed to do. But when they start facing the really good teams, is it gonna level out? I mean, it's a great start, so they can fall a little bit and still be in a great spot in July. So, but yeah, I don't know, Chris. I still don't believe they're as good as they're playing right now. I just think it's the teams they're facing, to be honest.
They're giving themselves breathing room, right? Which is what we talk about all the time for the later months. And obviously, good teams are supposed to beat up on the bad teams, which is exactly what Philly's done. The jury's still out because I agree. I don't think they're best team in baseball type good. I think that that's a little bit of a fluke, but I think they're better than maybe I have given them credit for in the past, and maybe you have as well. I think that they're actually better because they seem a little bit more well-rounded this year, especially getting some better contributions from their starting pitchers. Ranger Suarez is a guy that started off hot, but is that going to remain consistent for them? Like you said, I don't know. Jury's still out on that. But
Yeah,
shout out, though, by the way, shout out to Subway to Shea in the chat.
and
I know that he went live earlier today. Make sure you go check him out, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Shout out Subway to Shea. And shout out Stevie Mac 23. Lives 35 minutes away from Philly, and there's no way he was spending money to watch this game. Stevie, I don't blame you at all. At all. Just watch it in the comforts of your own home, and you don't have to worry about getting wet in the rain, all that good stuff. So
all right, Bader's up.
Fast representation on the latest
Well,
episode of the Mets.
Justin, it doesn't matter about watching them too much. It's just that I see who they played. They've played a lot of bad teams, and including the Mets, by the way.
it is pouring. Holy cow.
Yeah, just right by
They're gonna call this game or delay it at least, unless it is gonna stop by 8 and they're just gonna play through it. But you got about an hour until then, and the dirt's already shiny, which is not a good sign.
No, not at all. Stevie, since you're in the area, oh, JT misplayed that one. That was supposed to be an out.
Sheds the mask.
Oh.
Just this.
It went off his glove, right? That's kind of weird. Or was it on the opposite side of the fence? Oh, no, it was on the opposite side, so he had no way of catching that anyways.
I'm not sure.
I love the JT story.
Yeah, Stevie, I was going to say, be our weatherman here since you live in the area and let us know if this is just a pass-through because I'm not trying to sit here on stream for 6 hours waiting for a delay. It never happens, and we're here sitting on the stream at 2 a.m. and watching a loss at the end of it. I don't want that to happen.
That's just one run despite
What's new, Ant? The weather always sucks for the Mets. I feel like that's always a consistent thing for this team, man.
today. That's one inside mid with 2 balls, 2 strikes.
2-2 to Mr. Bader here in the 7 hole.
Let up sinker a change up away.
Hits it up the middle. Gonzalo, would you call that an error? I'm kind of thinking that's an infield
That
hit.
should be a hit.
Able to save first.
I think that's a hit.
Damn, that'll be 2 errors for the Phillies already.
Coming up.
Yeah. And that's one thing about the Phillies too. When you talk about like them being the best team in baseball, they're saying it on the broadcast. GKR, like their defense has held up. They're not known for a defense and to be a defensive team, right? They're not going to wow you in that category, but they've held up, and that helps certainly.
And the last 2 seasons, even though they had really good runs second half and obviously in the playoffs, their defense was a real problem during the season. They got better during the playoff run, but they were definitely a problem for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, come on. Be on that
Should be a
trade
great
block.
time to wake up. Should be a great time to wake up, Jeff.
Yeah.
Obviously, he feels terrible at the plate. You know, the month of May, he's hitting 190.
Did Keith just say he's been terrible at the plate?
To say he should just lay off the inside bit.
Work.
Well, you know, Jeff McNeil changed his bat this year. Now he has a knob on the bat, unlike all of his years. So I know that's maybe nothing, but it's interesting.
It is interesting.
You know, throughout his minor league career, through the pros, he's always had that knobless bat, and now he changed it, which is weird for a professional hitter, changing a bat like that.
I would, and I don't want to speculate this, but a bat with a knob is certainly more conducive to hitting for more power because you have more control over it. And I think the knobless bat was for more control in terms of being that slap type hitter. So maybe those two things are equivalent. I just simply don't know. I'd be curious to hear from Jeff McNeil himself why he switched that up. And yes, and
he's looking for his next contract. He's trying to hit home runs.
Yeah. Like most players do. Conforto did it way back when, and it hindered him, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, Ant, you're right. Like, Keith ain't lying there in that booth. He's been terrible. Everybody knows it. And it's good to hear the announcers bringing some accountability to this team as well.
That's why they're the best. They don't poop. They don't hide away from anything. Oh God.
Yeah. As McNeil chops to the second base and they get the force down the transfer. Oh boy. It's just not good swings that he's putting on. And forgive me because I didn't see what count he swung at that at. But that was just a terrible swing, terrible outcome. Everything about his process just sucks right now. And I'm sorry to keep piling on him, but you almost have to because it's just ridiculous at this point.
Yeah. I mean, everything's soft contact. No matter where he hits it, on the ground, up in the air, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And when you are such a two-dimensional player, Rob, like when you don't impact the game in other ways, like we always say about Brandon Nimmo, even when he's slumping, if you don't impact the game in any other ways, yeah, we're going to get on you. You know what I mean?
That's the problem with McNeil.
Be careful. Ranger has a very good move to first, one of the best fielding pitchers in the game.
Nito looking to try and punt his way on.
I don't mind that from Nito. 1 out, trying to flip the lineup over to your leadoff man.
It's amazing to me.
Yeah, get the guy in scoring position for a guy that's been hot in Brandon Nimmo. I don't mind it either.
This year, I think everybody who watches the game feels as though he's the best fielding pitcher in the game.
In 2022, he was +9 defensive runs saved as a pitcher. +9.
Last year, he began the year on the injured list. He had some forearm issues in spring training, and then he was the bullpen when the year began. So he didn't have a full year of starts. This year, in the rotation,
Nino goes down on the fastball a foot above the strike zone. So a bunt, sacrifice bunt would have been more productive there. You're right. It's tough, man. These conditions are tough. I will say that. As a hitter, not only for a pitcher, but as a hitter, those conditions are very tough.
It is. Absolutely.
Both sides are dealing with it, Rob. You know what I mean?
And that's the other thing.
Demo, his fly ball was dropped to the center field by Rojas. We're close to being bought.
He almost didn't. I thought he didn't.
I don't think Harrison Bader's a worldly base stealer myself. So,
especially in the mud that they're playing in right now.
Yeah.
This team makes me drink. I swear.
I don't blame you.
And step in baseball, and you expect that from Wheeler and Nolan. I don't think he necessarily expected it from Suarez, but
yeah, and good point. If this game does get delayed, I mean, I would think that Joey Lucchesi, if he's a temporary option, they just trot him back out there anyways. For me, right? Because like, what's the point of going to the bullpen if the guy that really isn't going to be here for the long term, right? That wouldn't make too much sense to me. But definitely for the Phillies, I think they would actually benefit the Mets if this does go into a delay, because then potentially Ranger Suarez would be out of the game and they'd have to go to a bullpen game. I really do think that the Mets would just stick with Joey Lucchesi after the delay, but I could be wrong.
Anthony, I agree. That's why they brought the rum buckets to City.
They're very accommodating.
Nemo swinging for the fences. Jesus.
Yeah, those are pretty gnarly hacks.
It's a very effective pitch. Not too many guys who did that in my day. Thank goodness. It's in trouble in River City.
Come on, Brandon.
Yeah, we'll never know.
And played perfectly. He almost bobbled it again. Almost. All right. We're going to bottom 2. 1-1.
Oh, they tried at the bottom of the order. What are you going to do with this team? They're going to drive me nuts. But,
I mean, Like, Rob, this is the thing, though. This is the trend, because at the beginning of the season, we've talked about the supporting cast being that sort of anchor for the team, but now it's almost getting into like that top-heavy lineup, like we were talking about before.
Yeah.
As we go completely blank here with
Yes.
the background. But you know what I mean, though? Like, it's almost like
Yeah.
transitioned to now the top 4, top 5 are carrying the team, and we're trying to get production out of the bottom of the lineup. Whereas in the first couple of weeks, it was flipped when Harrison Bader was doing well, when Brett Beatty was doing well, etc. It's almost flipped. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, why aren't we winning right now? The supporting cast is going back to what they normally are, or
Right.
mediocre at best, maybe decent. And the big guys aren't still really at the top of their game yet. Alonso has turned it around a little bit over about last like 3-4 games. Lindor is still not really there. Nimmo is struggling, like you said. McNeil is lost. Like, your big guys are not doing the job, and your team eventually, the supporting cast is going to turn into the supporting cast, the guys that might surprise you once a week, but they're not supposed to be carrying a team. I said this 2 weeks ago. Even when the Mets were going through that 12 out of 15 winning 12 out of 15 winning of games, it was all the supporting cast. The core basically did nothing, and it's not sustainable. It's really not. You're expecting supporting cast to have career years. That would be great if your core was doing their job. This team is staying afloat because of the starting supporting cast, not the core. That's the problem with this team right now.
Yeah. Look at the Phillies ball boy or bat boy getting the umpires some new jackets there.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Well, I guess they're going to play through it.
Ugly.
They're going to get the coats.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess they're playing through. They don't want to
All
delay.
right. Bottom of the 1-1, and Lucchesi on the mound.
Next sinker for a strike for Lucchesi. Scott has continued to rate 3 for 6 in the 2 games in New York.
Big home run.
The last 13 games, his OPS is 1361. On Monday against Abudia.
He's got their comeback going right there.
Shocker. And the 1-run game, he has hit ball with the base floated the tie. The Phillies won from the 10.
Talk about a red hot hitter, man. Bryson Stott's been on another level this season.
Yes, he has.
Crazy.
He made 9 starts for the Mets last year. He was 4-0 with a 2.89 ERA. He came to camp this year, and it looked like he lost about 30 pounds. I mean, he was just as skinny as you could possibly imagine. And they changed his mechanics a little bit. He had to work harder during the spring to get himself ready to go, which is fine. He really was never much of a factor as far as making the opening rotation.
I understand, Gary Cohen talking about Lucchesi, how good he was when the Mets brought him up, but there's no pressure. There was no pressure. It was just him pitching to play out the stretch. I hate when they talk about stats when there's no pressure on a player or a team.
Yeah, the context definitely matters in that category. I definitely agree with you.
Really? Yeah. Sunflower seeds in there.
The same thing with Reno. Ball for
Get over there.
No. Oh, what a play, Pete. Wow.
That's a dangerous play, though, man.
That was a very dangerous play, man. Pete.
He could have flipped
come
it. I
on.
think Lucchesi would have got there in time, but
You think so? I mean, he's having nightmares from the yips that he's had.
nah,
There
he
you
was
go.
there.
He got him for sure.
Yeah, that's dangerous, man. Dangerous.
Pete Alonso at first base, throwing the baseball or tossing the baseball this season has been a nightmare. It just seems like he's scared and timid almost out there at first base.
And that's a problem for a guy who's got better every year at defense.
Yeah, I agree with you. But that was a dangerous play, man. You get knocked upside the head by a knee, and that could be bad.
We've got a couple hits So opposite field for 2 games.
Good effort, though. I mean, I'll take the effort.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Series off the left hand, both down the right field line on a double.
Gets under this one.
This is gonna be trouble.
Center.
Indoors got it. 2 outs.
I'll take it.
I love the aggression that Francisco Lindor had on that play. That's a true
Always.
shortstop right there.
He's
No,
always like that.
no room for like miscommunications, right?
But he was ahead of him as well.
2 out of nobody, and now Christian Pache, his 11th start of the season. We saw him with Braves, then he went to Oakland, as part of the Matt Olson deal, going from Atlanta to Oakland.
He's always been an outstanding defensive player. They just didn't know if he would hit enough.
My man Travis, I appreciate it, buddy. Let's go Mets, buddy.
Let's go Mets, Travis. We appreciate you. Right. I like the rhythm that Lucchesi is like working with right now.
It's a fast pace for sure.
It is fast paced. I like it. He's pumping it in there, and he's pumping strikes too. So I like it.
Hey, with this weather, the way the wind's blowing too with the rain, make the batter uncomfortable as possible.
Strike.
Nice
0-2.
pitch.
Pitcher's
I like
count.
that
You got him right where you want him. What do you do here? Don't waste a pitch. Get your team back up at the plate.
Throw it about
As well.
letter high, a little higher than that, right in the zone.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, he tried it.
Whoa.
He tried it. I don't think he got it high enough, but he tried
Yeah, I
it.
don't think so, but that's exactly where I would have went. He was just looking for that pitch, which is kind of weird.
Right.
It's the second best chairman man ever.
How do you pick it?
Everyone else is tied for number 1.
Thus, number 2.
Boy, it is blustery now. This is a night you want to use.
Come on now, Joey.
Just 2 hands. Get under the ball as soon as you can.
Okay, so you head on Pache 0-2.
Check him out.
Oh, the curve. The curve. Let's
Love it.
go.
Love it.
There we go. All right, tie game going to top of the third. That's a great pitch right there. That's a put away pitch.
That is a great pitch. He's been pitching his ass off so far early in this game. Obviously made a mistake to Bryce Harper. Great piece of hitting going the opposite way. But he looks locked in right now. He's working at a pace that he is comfortable with. And, you know, he is pumping strikes. And that's exactly what we need. I think the Mets pitchers, right, all in all, they've been holding their own this season for the most part. Obviously, there's some anomalies there in between. But what's the consistency of the walks and the balls thrown and the opposition working counts just as equally, getting back down from 0-2 to 3-2 and drawing the walk? Joey Lucchesi is not allowing that to happen here very early on, and it's very encouraging.
Yeah, and look, you brought this up many times on pre-games, a couple of our in-game lives. The put-away pitch that the Mets pitchers seem to not have, or at least not have in that game, Lucchesi seems to have it right now and getting the batters off balance. And that's a great watch and eye of that to notice that. I know, a lot of us have, but you brought it up when me and anybody else didn't. And I thought that was a great call by you to say that, because it's absolutely true with this team and why the pitch count is extremely high with these pitchers.
Yeah. And especially like when you talk about maybe not so much Joey Lucchesi, because I don't really know exactly what he has in his arsenal. But when you have a guy like Sean Manaea, especially Luis Severino, that have 4, 5, 6 different pitches, like there's no reason to mess around in the strike zone or outside the strike zone. Go after him. Go after him. I'm not saying you have to throw a perfect strike right down the middle on the corner. It could be a ball off, but make it competitive enough for just to allow the other guy to just think about, okay, I have to swing because this is too close to take. And that's what I think can really help the pitchers out. And Joey Lucchesi is doing it right here so far. So yeah, it's a work in progress, but it's getting a little bit better. But we still need to just cut down on the walks and stop playing around in 0-2, 1-2.
Yeah, I agree. I think too many times they're in pitchers count and, right away in the snap of a finger, it's a hitter's count. I don't know if that's a philosophy with a lot of pitching coaches around the league. Like they like to not give in, and they basically stay around the plate, but not anywhere close enough where the batter would actually, go after a pitch. And I think that I don't know if that's a philosophy of Hefner with these pitchers or what, but has to change.
I just saw a graphic of Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, and Ryan Howard, and I never want to see that again. Those guys have haunted us for so long. I'm good on seeing those guys ever again.
Yeah.
Bad memories.
Yep. Oh wow, these people are soaked. I hate when fans go to games. I mean, I've been in many of those rainstorms. I was in Boston in Fenway when the Mets played, and it was like a torrential downpour. I was swimming in Fenway Park.
Yeah.
All right, Pete, come on.
Go, Pete. What up, Mason? Shout out to you. I appreciate you being here. Let's go, Mets. LFGM.
Yes, sir.
Oh!
Gone. That's gone. Off the wall. Get there, Pete.
Just
Get
missed
there.
it. Whoa.
Okay.
Go three. There we go. Love it.
There we go. Good hustle, Pete.
Boom. There's that energy.
Look at that
I
dirty
love it.
uniform.
Yeah,
Go.
on a clean relay, though, that he would have been tossed out by a mile. But the conditions are affecting everybody, and it's clearly affecting the Phillies' defense.
But you know what? He made the defense have to be perfect in that spot. Great hustle there.
I agree.
Everything had
Great
to be perfect
swing.
to get him out.
Great swing, too. Wish it would have went out, but great swing.
All right. 3 opportunities here to get that run in.
So you see on that take right there, Rob, what I'm saying is that he looks a little bit more tensed up there than the usual righty Lindor with the bat on his shoulders, very relaxed. Like that's how he like you see. Oh, hold on 1 second. Maybe he does it again. You see?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just my eyes playing tricks on me. It's very subtle, but I feel like it's a slight difference.
When you're batting 204, I mean, you know what's funny though? Like the average is not there, but the home runs and RBIs are fine. Like it's just the consistency of putting the bat on the ball is the problem.
Right.
With many of the Mets, not just Lindor, but to look at Lindor at 204.
Yeah, it's not pretty. Hopefully he turns it around. Absolutely. We need him to in a big way.
Yep. Come on, Frankie.
There's too much to do.
Pete Alonso's uniform is as dirty as it can be, dude.
His body language, though, he's showing it. He's not comfortable with the mound, not happy with the field.
Ground crew was out.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying, Daniel? I know I'm not crazy. Like he just seems like he's starting off like that. He's getting into a little bit more of a tense position. I don't mind it if it feels comfortable.
Yeah, it's a pitch you got to drive, Frankie.
Yep.
Now we can't be stupid and try to swing at something out of the zone here.
Aye. All right. All right. Good at that.
I'll take it.
We'll take it. Lindor with the 0 for 0, hit by pitch and a walk. Shout out to Darren Rivera, by the way, member of the channel. I appreciate you. Salute to you. Always supporting us on any stream that we do. Much appreciated, Darren. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
First one of this game against me was looking as well. He is great at setting up hitters. He's great in many ways.
Couldn't even tell you if New York's like as shitty as Philadelphia right now weather-wise.
Yeah. I know out here it's pretty gloomy. There we go.
Yeah.
Great job. Good pass ball. That's how you manufacture. That's a Pete run right there, Rob.
Yeah, it's a Pete run. That's all Pete right there.
Exactly.
We were just talking about the Phillies defense all around, and it's kind of like it's been hurting him.
Yep.
First 3 innings. All right, Pete. That's your hustle right there. That's your run.
This is where we're not satisfied with only 1 run, Rob. We saw it the other day. Bases loaded, no outs. We got 1, and then we went down and just rolled over 3 strikeouts in a row. The Mets need to score Francisco Lindor right now.
Yep, I agree. Got to get at least 2 here.
can't try to pick it and throw the guy out at second base. You got to block that ball.
Still nobody out. Runs inside. Cutter from Suarez. It's 2-1.
And you are right, Ronnie. Suarez is really the body language. He's out of his rhythm right now. Combination of bad support and the weather.
This is a guy who threw 32 consecutive scoreless innings in April. Thus was named actually pitcher of the month. He's done pretty well.
Good eye. Good eye. All right. They're making Ranger Suarez work here, Rob. 47 pitches, no outs in the third inning so far. 3-1 count. If you get a fastball here, rip away at it.
Agree. Got to drive it here. Try to get that ball in the gap.
Oh.
As it's one to short, backhanded by Sosa.
Oh. Yeah, he hit it hard. Damn.
The long pop.
He got the fastball and he rolled over it, is what he did.
Yeah.
Wet grass. The ball
He seemed like he was quick on that fastball, too. Little out in front.
Yeah, he was out in front of it. He definitely was. He got a little bit too excited.
Did he slip? No. That was a bad throw. All right, Mark, come on.
I get kind of excited now when Mark Vientos is up. I get a little bit giddy because I'm like, dude, this guy's here. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Let's go.
He does. Yes, he does.
Come on, Mark.
Vientos has now had 4 big league at bats this year. 8 big league at bats, 4 hits.
Ah,
Ooh. Oh, nasty curveball.
there's a bender, yeah.
Games at AAA this year, 285. 6 home runs. Fouls off the fastball as far as 22. Vientos coming up. Really Wendell being designated for assignment. The Boots for Mets without backup middle infielder. Which is an odd piece of roster.
Ah,
Oh, Mark. Come on, buddy.
trying to do too much there. Trying to do too much.
Oh, we talked about that extra run. That run could
Yeah.
be crucial.
Yeah.
The Mets
Just
had
bad
an issue
baseball
this year
there.
attacking on runs. It's been a huge issue.
Can you all still hear the audio in the back of Rob's? I'm curious. Because if not, Patty, I'll start calling this game my damn self. Absolutely.
I'm checking the audio right now on StreamYard. It's saying that it's. Let me show my mouth. Let me see if it shows up.
I honestly thought he was going to make a team out of spring training. Remember that Joey Wendell had
Now I hear a little bit better.
always liked Francis. Just it's a brother.
Especially since they kept Zach short, and it was.
I kind of angled it a
Alright,
little
Mark,
bit
thanks.
better. Sorry, guys.
The base short.
No, you're all good, man. You're all good. We just need this run, man. I need to see a 2-out base knock, just like Mark did in the first inning. But those 2 at bats weren't productive. The last 2 at bats that we just saw in the slightest bit.
Saying of a 104-mile-an-hour bullet that Bone caught his first time up, that saved a couple of runs. He takes changeup down to ball 1.
I think you're absolutely right, Ron. He's going to pitch very carefully for Marte.
You're at second and 2 down. First ball bounced to a third.
So I see Gonzalo's in here saying to steal third. The reason why I wouldn't do that is because a single clearly scores Lindor here, especially when you have the conditions being wet. The outfield grass plays a little bit slower in my mind, especially with the footing of the outfielders. They're not going to try to make a mistake and throw him out. They're just going to get to the cutoff man. So I would not risk that being the third out at third base.
Norman can't get the bunt down. And you're stealing third, and you'll make it without
And he steals third.
stealing second.
Or I could be wrong.
It's 2-1.
And clearly I was wrong.
After the game, Washington was asked about the
Maybe Gonzalo was foreshadowing, but maybe he already saw it before me. But it was a good pitch to steal on, though. It was in the dirt. I'm not going to lie to you. If it was like a bang-bang play, then obviously that would be a little bit risky. Oh, I like the idea.
I don't hate that. It just looked bad.
Carlos Mendoza's giving a little smirk there to Jeff McNeil. Ooh.
2 days earlier, we tried to make some money up front, and he punted into a double play. So I don't know. He's feeling the heat, right?
Good eye. All right.
Last night, that's 13 RBIs for Lamar in his last 6 games,
And hit for power as well.
3-2 to Marte. Harrison Bader looking at. We're a third with 2 out. Marte.
Patty says it's low, the volume I think she's talking about, but I have the game on, and honestly, no one needs to hear Gary. Justin needs the game calls.
You should follow that fastball in paint.
7th pitch would be about to start.
Good eye. Good at bat. Great
All
at
right,
bat.
good at bat.
Second one for Suarez tonight. That's got a week's worth for now.
Ranger Suarez is flustered. I see that walk given up, him automatically looking over to the dugout, and he looks flustered to me.
He does.
And I like to see that.
The hitter's where he wants. He just can't execute that pitch inside. Yes.
So now Bader, who had infield hit his first time up.
Oh, they did award Bader the single on that ball, by the way, Rob.
They should. It wasn't that easy of a play, but I give him a hit. I'll take that.
Yeah, I agree. I always forget Bryce Harper is playing first base for them now. Always
It's
forget.
so weird.
Once in a while, right down the lefties.
Got an 0-0 coming to Bader.
And then it all goes away.
You can swing.
Should be a good
Turned
time
on it.
this week. You're going to face a lot of left-handers. This slug versus left-handers, a couple 100 points higher. And this
Faced by Harper and make it
Bader down in the hole 0-2 right now. Fouled it off to the right side. That was a meatball of a pitch. Can't miss that pitch on 0-1.
great defense from Bader in center
I'm
field.
assuming by the chat, Gonzalo and Daniel, I'm assuming he struck out.
Yeah.
Just going to assume. Or a pop-up.
Into the Bader, there goes Marte. It's hit the center field.
Ah.
Rojas this time. Still uses one.
Didn't
I
get
hate
that run.
I don't hate it, but he got off the end of the bat, obviously.
Yeah. Well, the insurance runs. Those are important, and we don't get them. Don't give Lucchesi any margin for error. That's the problem. And,
Yeah.
they have to be perfect, and that is the issue. Like you get 2-3 runs in that inning. Now you got a couple of run lead, and Lucchesi doesn't have to be pinpoint perfect the next inning or next couple of innings to hold the lead.
I agree with you. Absolutely. We've been talking about it for quite some time, Rob. That's honestly where I look at, instead of looking at Edwin Diaz in that meltdown of a loss the other night, I look at that third inning where the offense couldn't come through, and it was an absolute embarrassment. You got a walk, an RBI walk from JD Martinez, and your next 3 hitters all strike out on 9 pitches. That's absolutely unacceptable. And that situation is no different. And honestly, right there, it was the guys that you would expect to come through. JD Martinez, obviously on a 3-1 pitch. I like the aggression, but you can't pull that pitch. You can't do it. You got to move the runner over at the very minimum. And then Mark Vientos trying to do a little bit too much, swinging out of his shoes and chasing curveballs in the dirt on 0-1 and on 1-2. And the rest is history, to be honest with you. Because like I said, what does this team lack? Mark Vientos obviously did it in the first inning in this game, but they lack 2 out base knocks with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just frustrating because this offense wasn't supposed to be the problem of this team. and it is badly.
Yep.
The starting pitching has been, listen, has it been great? No. Has it been better than expected? Absolutely. And the bullpen has been outstanding. Besides Diaz, who's, I don't know if Diaz has been bad, but it's more of the fact that I think he's just, look, he hasn't pitched in a year. Like,
Yeah.
he's not going to be 2022 Diaz as we remember him right away. It's going to take him time. You got to remember, he's also got to trust that knee as well. And that takes time, especially with a professional ball player who is just always making sure everything is perfect. It could be just simple mechanics.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a variety of things. We just don't know.
All right. Bottom of the third, 2-1 Mets.
Third for the Phillies against Joey Lucchesi.
Keep pumping strikes if you're Joey Lucchesi. Love getting that first strike on Johan Rojas right now.
Yep.
Rojas 1 for 7 in the 2 games in New York. Batting ninth in the order, Schwarber and Realmuto to follow. And try to punt his way off.
Come on, Joey, get there.
Great play.
Good job.
Great play.
Nice and quick.
Sure has. Weather probably has something to do with it. These first 3 innings.
It could be a tough play, though. With those conditions, you can slip, and it could be game over right there for that play.
Training field too. We are involved. Mel Torme. He hated that. That was Arthur Godfrey said that on the radio. For our older fans. Arthur's fan almost are happy that we're still with us. Are you happy I'm still with you? Absolutely, kid. What would we ever do without you?
Keep them, Gary.
That was first stop up.
What do you think about that comparison, though, that Gonzalo's talking about here? Schwarber and Pete Alonso having similar statistics, similar sort of impacts on the game. What do you think about that?
Oh, Alonso and Schwarber?
Yeah. Do you think it's accurate? You think it's an accurate
Alonso,
comparison?
Alonso's starting to become a Kyle Schwarber, to be honest with you. Low average, power, and RBIs. And it sucks because Pete Alonso was a guy that could hit 250, 260, probably a 270 hitter. And he's becoming less of that for whatever reason. I don't know why, but
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why he's becoming that. I don't know if it can't be age, can it? Like he's turning into Adam Dunn more than Kyle Schwarber, to be honest with you.
And listen, Adam Dunn, the Adam Dunns of the world and the Kyle Schwarbers of the world, like they got their money and they deserve their money. They just don't. They're not going to get $200+ million like Pete's going to ask for. You know what I mean?
If Pete bats like 215, 220 with like 40+ home runs and 110 RBIs, he's not getting more than what the Mets offered him. To be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got it.
Well, believe it or not, Schwarber's got 2 stolen pillows this year so far. Caught once.
Used to be an outfield.
He is really trimmed down.
Double play would be huge right now as the 0-1 is coming over to JT Realmuto.
Fire hydrant.
Good spot. Oh, Joey's frustrated with that. He gave a little head shake there. It's close. It was a ball, but it was close.
A ball where he was victimized by a wild pitch that gave the Mets the go-ahead run.
Interesting. Realmuto.
Oh, no. Get there.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Good
Good
angle
job.
by Starling Marte. That was a rope. That was a rope.
Well, that's when Realmuto's right. You have to take that right center field gap away from him. When he's swinging the back row.
Good job by analytics, playing them to right center.
So hang with him.
Realmuto can't believe it. They had the book out on him, man.
The expected slugging.
All right, dangerous situation here with the runner on with Bryce Harper coming up.
Homer for the Phillies run.
Oh,
I always think when we get a shot at that hitter who's made a tough out and he makes that face before he goes to the dugout, I bet you it's the same face they made when they were 10 years old.
Harper's OPS is 906. That's insane.
Harper grounds one down to Alonso. He goes.
What are you doing?
Play, Pete.
He didn't know how many outs there were. Oh,
Yeah,
Pete.
he didn't. You got to be better than that, Pete. But that's a great play. You know what? I'll take it. Lindor is just kind of giving him a chuckle, like, "What the hell are you doing?"
All right. 2-1 Mets. Lucchesi puts up a 0 in the bottom of the third. So keep it going. Let's get more runs. That's what we need more than anything else. That was the best throw Alonso through the second all year.
Not knowing how many outs is crazy. I mean, wake the fuck up. I agree with
He's thinking
you.
about the
I
contract.
agree with you, man. You got to be locked in the field, man, especially in the major leagues. You got to know how many outs there are. And obviously, it doesn't hurt to just throw the ball over to Lindor. It doesn't hurt, but like, it's just a bad look at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, look, it didn't hurt us. It got the out. But if he would have thrown that ball away, there would have been a runner on third and possibly a runner on. It would have been second and third with 2 outs. Like you can't make that. You can't make that simple mistake. Like it shows that you're not in the game. Even though, look, he made a great hustle to get to third base with a couple of bad throws and then the wild pitch. But like you have to be in the game. You have to be in the. You can't have that mental mistake like that because that could have cost you.
And what did we say earlier in this stream? Just like the last half inning or so, that throw still was garbage from Pete Alonso. That took a play from Lindor at his feet to not have that into left field. That's garbage. So like, dude,
for people who like to get on Lindor for whatever reason, Lindor did not have to go to second and cover second. He could have easily been headed to the dugout thinking Pete's just going to step on first, and that would have been a disaster. So heads up by Lindor for actually doing what he's supposed to do, covering second base, even though the obvious play was to touch first.
Yeah, if you just bow your head and just kind of put your head down and run toward the dugout, and you get a ball right in your chest or your head if you're not paying attention. But thankfully, it's Pete throwing it, so it's going to be at your feet.
Take his ankles out. Oh shit! So the Mets are leading 2-1, going to the top of the fourth. It's 2-3-4, right? Because Nimmo ended the inning, correct? If I'm not mistaken. Or am I completely?
No.
Oh wait, that was
Bader ended the inning. Yeah.
9-1. That's right. Sorry about that. I was just looking at the box score right now. I'm like, oh shit.
I love this new setup, Rob. I love the box score going live updates to it.
One day I'm gonna get an actual live feed on there with that because it's not easy. Like I'm literally like on my design portal, like changing scores just to give the live update for everybody that's watching.
Yeah.
Like I literally got 2 windows up right now, just like putting in scores, like just putting in numbers just to make sure I get it ready to go. So I'm not like 3 innings behind. But I appreciate it, man. I try to make it better because, like I said, game day was awesome. Like a lot of people liked it, but it just doesn't cooperate anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah. The lag is just unbearable, and I think it's just better to just let it go until StreamYard fixes those issues.
Correct. All right, guys. So top of the fourth, 2-1 Mets. Mets got 3 hits. Phillies got 2 hits, and the Phillies have 2 errors in the first 3 innings of the game, and that helped the Mets, and it cost the Phillies. But it's only a 2-1 ball game. A lot of game to go. Here we go. Yep. 8-9-1 for the Mets.
Good to see everybody getting along. Look at that. I never had that. There's a very distinct accent I find. That guy never had an accent, did he? That guy's got a lot of autographs.
All right. Commercial is over. What's going on here? They're fixing the field?
Yeah, what is going on?
Probably putting some dirt on that on the field, fixing the mound maybe.
Yeah, a little grounds crew action potentially.
Green slicker comes in handy. The portable poncho. Jeff McNeil leads off in the 4th inning.
He goes that fastball right down the middle again.
Off his game. That's only his 7th first pitch.
Everybody's favorite Met.
17 batters. Very unreal.
Come on, Jeff.
McNeil strokes one out to left.
Lazy fly ball. Okay. God. Oh man.
Good recovery.
with it.
I don't know what's going on with Jeff McNeil, man. That looked like an inside fastball, or maybe just over the plate, over the heart of the plate, and he kind of just in and out it, like just kind of like in and outed it. I don't know, like if you saw that, but something's off, man. I don't know what it is either, because it can't just be boiled down to the mindset. It's just like something mechanically is not there.
Ball snags it out to the side.
I honestly don't know. I really don't know.
Talk about a quick half inning here. 3 pitches already, 2 outs.
Yeah.
Here.
Good way to show Lucchesi, hey, get back on the mound and put up zeros for us.
Yeah, it's not a recipe for success.
Great job while he was in there.
What a rotation that is right there. Wow.
Yep, they've been excellent.
It's not a strike. Blue, come on, you got to be better than that.
Ryan Knight, the home plate on fire. Demo had a fly ball dropped in center field that led to the first Met run into a builder's choice in the second. Both the Mets runs have been unearned against Suarez. Rojas dropped the fly ball on the first. Pache made the throwing error in the third.
Oh, geez. 5-pitch inning for Ranger Suarez here. You had him on the ropes. You had him throwing into the 60s in the 4th inning, and you let him off the hook. And I'm not saying that the swing was bad from Brandon Nimmo, and it's not obviously just Brandon Nimmo. It's the guys before him too. But you just can't have that as an offense. Like, I'm all for first pitch swinging, and that's why I said in the chat, in my chat over here, it's situational. Like, you let go of the first pitch. That was your pitch to hit. And then you hit a lazy fly ball on the second pitch. It's all situational. But I don't like that process. Regardless, onward we move. Joey Lucchesi, quick rest. We'll see if he's able to keep these Phillies at bay.
Yep. So we're going to the bottom of the 4th. That was almost as embarrassing as the inning at Citi Field. What was it? 9 pitches, 98 seconds the inning was, or something like that. Wasn't even a full minute, it felt like. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, again, the Mets are struggling to score runs. If it wasn't for the Philly mistakes, the Mets might not have no runs. But we'll take it because we are just. I think on the road we're scoring about 5.5 runs per game, and at home we're scoring just over 3 runs per game. But it just feels like even on the road right now, they're just not clicking as an offense. And again, we can talk about whoever we want to blame. I think you always have to go back to the main guys on this team. Like, it sucks, but it's true.
Did you see that graphic that was thrown around on X of the Mets hitters OPSs
On the
at
road,
home versus on the road?
It's terrible on the at home, man. It's bad.
That's insane. I saw Omar Narvaez have a sub .050 OPS at home and up to like 850 plus on the road. That's insane.
Wow. Uh-oh. What's going on?
What's going on here? Oh, they're bringing the tarp out? No. Okay, they need to fix up the batter's box.
Oh, they're going to do it after the inning. Yeah. Next inning. Wow, you guys never did this before? I mean, come on. Let's go. Jesus Christ. My Lord. Wow. Good job, guys. You see how Philadelphia works. This team. What the hell is going on? Can you make this game go longer somehow? Yeah. Let's just try to make new batters box in the 4th inning.
Yeah, I'm not understanding this. What's going on?
When did they do that? Come on, crew chief. Let's go. Put your hat on. Go to your position. Let's play ball. Act like they never played fucking baseball in the rain before, man. Come on. Let's go.
Easy. I literally complained that Jeff McNeil didn't swing at the first pitch this last half inning. So don't try to make it seem like I'm changing up my tune because I'm not. I can go back and forth with you all day on this, and I'm going to call you out every single time because I'm not changing up my tune at all.
All right, bottom of the 4th, 2-1 Mets.
All right, here we go. Bottom of the fourth down the ball. Drew Walker's first time up. The only walk issued by Lucchesi in the first 3 innings. This is with the church for ball one. The second time that he's thrown ball on the first pitch, church. Castellanos and Scott to follow. It's not yet an official game. Correct center field and deep.
Nice.
That has to be the wind.
That's a home run.
Scared me. That looked like it was gone off the bat.
That had to be the wind.
Yeah. Marte has some room.
Yep, it held it up here, no doubt.
Dusting it as hard as it was before. Still get dusted up. So 1 out now, Castellanos.
Call me out, MEZ. You're wrong. You're literally wrong. I said you're wrong before and you folded. Because you saw Mark Vientos get an RBI, one of the only 2 RBIs the Mets have right now. Not even the only RBI. And you said nothing about it. So call me out. I'm going to call you out because you're wrong. You can sit there and accept it too.
No, don't you believe it?
Castellanos slide to center his first time up. Rare times the case has been behind in the count. Takes one the other way for a base hit. Chased toward the line by Marte. Castellanos.
Oh, he's stretching
Oh,
it to
he's
his elbow.
dead.
Throw out
He
by
got
a
him.
mile.
Yeah. What a throw by Marte, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Get the hell out of here, slow ass.
Marte's been exceptional at that, dude. Oh my goodness. He's got a cannon out there. Why would you even try that? I don't understand that.
I don't know. It's weird, right?
I guess he was just praying that the conditions slowed Marte down or like lost his footing or something, but he was dead in the right there. I'm not even sure what's
He made
going
the
on there.
defense make a play, and he did.
I'm surprised they didn't call Lindor for obstruction with that.
Yeah, you see him slip away like, whoa.
That's something that the umpires would do and try to utilize to their advantage, that
Of course.
obstruction call. So
Once you have the ball, you can block the base. So Marte, who is the Major League's active leader in outfield assists, that's 104 now in his career.
I love how Joey Lucchesi spots that fastball. Even though he's throwing 89, 90, he locates it on the corners perfectly.
yeah, and that's something Jose Quintana needs to do a better job at.
Scott rolls one for McNeil.
Oh, could be the end
Right.
of it. Please. All
Another
right.
quick inning
Take
for
it.
Joey Lucchesi as well, so we'll take it. It's a little bit of a pitcher's duel right now. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of like the tone of this ball game. It's going by pretty quick, already at the top of the 5th.
As long as the umpires don't decide to blow it with a rain delay.
Listen, if that means the Mets win by default with 6 innings or 5.5 innings through the books, I'll take it. I'll take a win as a win as a win at this
Yep.
rate if you're the Mets.
I agree.
But let's not let that be the deciding factor. Let's go score some more runs. That's the perfect world scenario right there.
Be nice. But this team likes to make us work hard for everything that we enjoy in life for baseball. And
Yeah, they do.
man. So I do apologize, guys, for not being active with in-game lives like a lot more this year. I went through a move, and every time I've been trying to do in-game lives, they just been not working out schedule-wise for me, and I do apologize for that since I moved and I'm in a new area of work. Same company, different setup, different times and all that. And I'm kind of trying to be, that good employee that, oh, can you come in? Can you come in? And I always say yes like an idiot. But don't worry, more in-game lives are going to happen. If it's with both of us or one of us, we're going to try to bring it as much as possible, especially with the Rangers and the Knicks playing in the playoffs. It's really hard. We don't want to, it just worked out today because none of them playing. So, it's hard to do in-game lives when you got the Knicks and Rangers are on.
Yeah, I'm always live for the post games for both of those teams anyway. So it just somehow it always seems to overlap depending on the start times for the Knicks, especially if it's like a 7 p.m. game or the Rangers. So it's kind of hard for us to do that. But obviously we are approaching the later phases of the NBA and NHL season. So I'm sure as the summer progresses, we'll be on here a lot more talking about the Mets by default.
That would be nice. And hopefully it's relevant baseball, not just playing the string out. All right, here we go, guys. We got the top of the fifth, 2-1 Mets. Couple of errors from the Phillies gave the Mets opportunities to get some runs. Both Mets runs are unearned. Vientos knocked in the first one, which was great, but both unearned runs for the Mets to give them a 2-1 lead going to the top of the fifth. And we're not even at 8 o'clock yet, and then it's in the top of the fifth. So as Chris said, it's going a little quick, which is nice as long as the Mets are winning. If they're losing, want to slow down that game. So 2-3-0 for the Mets and 1-3-2 for the Phillies. Lucchesi's been pitching well. Ranger Suarez has been all over the place on the mound. He just can't get comfortable, and the Mets got to keep on making him uncomfortable. Alonso up, 2-1 Mets.
He takes a strike from Suarez. Alonso hitting the 2-hole with Lindor and Martinez behind him.
Come on, Pete.
That jam and fouled it off, 0-2. Suarez settled in for a better inning in the fourth. 1-2-3 with 5 pitches thrown. Warriors third in. But he walked there.
They're really doing the Power Ranger thing? Ranger Suarez.
Rangers. They're not hockey fans, though.
It's kind of neat, I'll say.
Ranger fans.
Yeah.
Wrestling fans.
A little corny, but it's neat.
Baseball's all about the fan interaction, so it's important to be a little creative.
I should think you haven't had kids in a long time.
No, I haven't. Thank goodness.
Oh,
On,
beat it out. Beat it out.
Come on, Pete. Where's that hustle?
Yeah.
First out. One out of nobody.
Didn't feel like a competitive swing from Pete there, 3-2. I feel like he just kind of floated his hands out there and just kind of prayed.
It's kind of I might strike out swing.
I'm curious what your thoughts and opinions, as well as the chat's opinions, are on Steve Gelbs, because I enjoy his sideline commentary. He's obviously a horrible announcer when he's kind of filled in, but a lot of people like to give him some grief on social media. So I don't know, man.
I mean, I don't think he's terrible, but he's not Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin Burkhardt was great, but he's the hit or miss, but I don't hate him. Like, I think he does the job, and I think he does it okay. I mean, I'm not going to give him an award, but, Kevin Burkhardt, he was doing his thing and then, got the Fox. I don't know if Steve Gelbs is going to be one of those guys to move on to better pastures.
I do appreciate you saying that publicly. I really do.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Daniel's saying he's better than ESPN. That's funny. Anybody's better than ESPN.
I mean, even Apple figured out, let's get broadcasters from both teams to make you sound better. ESPN just doesn't have to. They never do. Even though they have done a good job with the NHL playoffs. I got to give them credit for that.
Yeah. The NBA commentary is just absolutely terrible. Just their agendas against the Knicks just makes my ears bleed. But
yeah, they hate the Knicks.
2-2 to Francisco. Roll over to Bohm.
Charges in to make the play. Bohm was actually one of the guys that was.
All right. 2 outs. Mr. Martinez coming up.
Is it me or the Phillies look like they're hesitant to catch and throw the ball on their own field? I know the field sucks, but the Mets haven't seemed right now look like they're hesitant to catch and feel the ball.
During the regular season, he takes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, oh, okay. I thought it was another rollover. I don't know. Alec Boehm always looks very unorthodox over there at third base, anyways. Like the way he catches his short hops. But no, I agree with you. They look a little bit timid out there in terms of just like attacking the baseball. I think the Mets have been doing a better job at that as well. But yeah, I'm curious to see how the defense holds up for Philly over the course of 162. That's going to be interesting. Nice single there by Mr. Martinez to the pull side. Love it.
Love the two-strike approach. Not over swinging, level swing. Just get the bat on the ball and find a hole. Look at that.
How about a bloop and a blast here for Mr. Vientos? That'd be nice.
I like that a lot.
Out front, but he's so strong. Still able to keep that back. Let's go with one hand a lot.
Come on, Mark.
Mark Vientos is after a first pitch changeup.
Now he's over swinging a little bit.
Yeah, now we're starting to see him expand the zone a little bit, which I don't like.
Come on, Mark. Stay within. Come on.
He struck out in the third. Chopper near the bag.
All right.
Next to step.
All right.
Heading to the middle of the fifth.
Yeah, Chris, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying heading to the middle of the fifth. I mean, the offense has gone lethargic. This is really what we had feared, right? Every single time the Mets get off to a nice little lead there, especially scoring the first run, which is very unusual for the Mets, the way they did it in the top of the first. And they just get lethargic. The at-bats get a little bit more sparse. They get a little bit more lazy. But yeah, shout out to Pete Alonso providing that extra run. It was basically a Pete Alonso run. But the rest of the guys, man, the offense just hasn't just clicked. Like, I don't feel like there's much continuity with this offense, if you know what I mean. Like the flow of it just seems like it's just up and down and up and down. And we haven't seen them perform at the top of their game collectively as a unit. And it's a shame because I do think the Mets have a lot more to offer than what we're seeing with the bats.
Yeah, and look, this team averages, like, just as a whole, it's a very similar team. A lot of the core guys are here. They usually score around 5.5 runs per game. That's like their average as a team over the last couple of years. That's why, like, it's frustrating when they're scoring just over 3.5. You're not going to win ball games like that, and it's frustrating because, like, and you're right. There's no continuity at all. But, like, I mean, Stearns. That's why Stearns brought in Vientos. He's trying to change something. That's why the lineup changed. That's why Lindor is batting third and Alonso's batting second. And then you put in JD at cleanup and Vientos behind JD, trying to do something. At least they're trying something and not doing the status quo. And they even moved Alonso and Lindor. Like, usually they don't do that. Usually it's everybody else getting moved around. So they're trying. But you know what? When your guys are not hitting, regardless of where they're batting in the order, you're going to struggle. Bottom 5, 2-1 Mets.
Casey gets first pitch turn over for a strike to Fernando Sosa. Brewers, Dodgers, Phillies.
Yeah, Daniel Alonso succeeds in that 2-hole. Absolutely. Just keep him there.
That's no BS in baseball against the breaking stuff.
And I really do think, and I know that Joey Lucchesi is taking the mound right now, and he's been spectacular so far. Hopefully there's no jinxes there. I really do think that you need to let this offense be a little bit more consistent in terms of the personnel that you're throwing out there. I do like this lineup a lot that Carlos Mendoza had thrown out there tonight. With a little bit of a shakeup, JD batting fourth, Vientos fifth, etc. It's had some early success here, obviously in the earlier innings, but you need to I'd like to see this lineup get trotted out there tomorrow, the same lineup. Let these guys get comfortable in those roles instead of switching it out every other couple days. You know what I mean?
Even if they score 2 runs and win the ball game?
Even if they only score 2 runs, Rob, I'd like to see the same thing because there's only so much switching you can do with the personnel, and that's a strike. This umpire is absolutely atrocious.
That's a strike. Leadoff walk. Here we go.
Yeah, that's never good.
You know, I wonder how many. You know, we haven't really known how many pitches Lucchesi has thrown in the minors. I do wonder if he's going to pitch, 90, 95, or is it going to be like this 80, 85? I mean, he's in the fifth inning, so at 54 pitches, so he can go a couple more innings if he doesn't have a long inning here.
I don't think Mendoza is going to play. I think he's playing the long game with Lucchesi. Obviously, they brought him up for a reason. Oh, is that a balk? Or is that a timeout by the hitter? Oh, it's a pitch time violation.
Pitch clock violation.
The problem Mendoza wasn't sure about was whether he had Adrian Hauser in the bullpen. Because Hauser got hot in the bullpen late in the game yesterday, which is why.
Where's that pitch?
But he didn't know if Hauser could bounce.
They caught the corner, man. This guy's horrible.
Today, considering he's going to start his career. So they needed protection from Hardwood. To a note of Pache, struck out his first time up.
Here we go, 3-0.
Whoa, and now Lucchesi Dickinson.
Not good.
Walked the number 7 hitter. He's behind the number 8 hitter, 3-0.
Come on, it's the bottom of the order. You got to get through this. You don't want them to turn over that lineup.
Casey walk numbers were up at Syracuse this year. That is strike 31. 3.8 walks per 9 innings. Last year in the majors is 3.3. Casey's pickoff losing out. Very strange reactions to life in the base.
Right. Lucchesi's fought himself back to a 3-2 count. This is a very important pitch. You need it. You really need this.
Look, it's the bottom of the order. Go after him. Don't walk him. Challenge him. If he hits it, tippy cap.
And he walked him. Oh, my goodness.
Not a bad pitch, though. Not a bad pitch.
It's not a bad pitch. I agree with you. Oh, and there's Mr. Hefner. Speak of the devil here with Mr. Hefner coming out. What a ghost he's been, huh?
4.5 walks per 9 this season, highest in Major League Baseball. You're not going to win games like that.
Yeah, Jorge Lopez warming up. Is that Jorge Lopez?
All right, so Phillies got first and second. Nobody out. 2 walks. And it's been the problem with the Mets, and it's been killing them all season. They've been pretty lucky for the first, I'll say, 25 to 30 games where they kind of got out of a lot of these situations, but lately they haven't. They've been burned by these walks. So, see, Joey Lucchesi can play a Houdini act here and get out. Look, it's the bottom of the order, guys. You can't walk the bottom of the order.
Nope. Yeah. I'll take a triple play here, too. Whatever it takes.
So the corners are in, which is interesting.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, though, with Kyle Schwarber on deck, I think it's the obvious play here to do a sack bunt, get the runners over. That makes sense to me.
Absolutely.
Put it down that third base line.
Got to know where you're going if you're the infielder here. 1, 1, 1, 1.
Oh, no, not a good play. Jeez.
Got to get the 1 out.
Now, I can't tell what the speed is of the batter, so maybe that was the better play if Joe Lucchesi thought that he didn't have a chance at it. But
yeah,
man,
but you know what? Beatty wasn't getting to the bag fast enough. There was, I think he had to try for first.
Vientos.
I mean, Vientos never really got on the bag. Never touched the bag.
Wow, how much of a luxury is it for your 9-hole hitter to know how to actually put a bunt down in a key situation?
Yeah,
Mets
right?
can't relate. Mets can't relate.
All right, come on, Joey. Bear down.
Takes fastball down for ball 1.
Hartwig is warming up in the bullpen.
Casey putting himself in jeopardy with walks.
And a quick 2-0 count to Kyle Schwarber here. This is absolutely brutal. This is what loses you ball games, and this is what has lost the Mets ball games. This is brutal.
He's got to come in right in the zone.
Now it's 3-0.
What are we doing here, man? What are we doing here?
The fact that he's hitting over 300, I mean, I couldn't, either way, I wouldn't second guess one way or the other.
Four-pitch walk. 4-pitch walk with the bases loaded. That's unacceptable.
The third walk of the inning. And this game is tied.
Telling me the great pitching coach that probably has some dirt on someone in this organization that survived multiple regimes goes out there and gets the pitcher to calm down, and he still goes out there, does what he does on a sacrifice bunt, and then walks the next batter on 4 pitches. That is losing baseball. You want to know why the Mets are losing games? The offense hasn't showed up, and that is exactly also contributing to it.
You know what's even worse? Every one of those pitches were down.
This is loaded. This game got tied.
No adjustments, man.
Got it lined out to right.
Yep, there goes the Mets lead. Great piece of hitting by JT Realmuto. They go base to base, and the Mets are now down 3-2.
So Realmuto, after the 3 walks in the inning,
Walk skill.
It's frustrating.
in his 16th run of the year to put the Phillies up 3-2.
Well, just smart.
You had opportunities to get more runs, a couple of more insurance runs, and now the walks have killed the Mets once again.
It's some tough times right now in Mets land, Rob. I know that they're only 3 games under 500. I know it's early. I understand that, but those excuses start running themselves, and they run their course eventually, as we're 2 weeks away from June.
Casey's lost.
Yeah. There's no recovering from this, and he's only at 67 pitches through 5. I guess it's caught up to him.
Yep.
Went to left field in first, his 10th of the year.
Another base hit for Bryce Harper. It is now 5-2 Philadelphia lead. At least they got that runner out. They're trying to clear the bases.
2 runs come home on the double by Harper.
Good relay by Lindor, but honestly, the way this offense has been shaken out, this just seems like it's ball game over. And I hate to say that. I hate to kind of just call it quits here, and I'm not going to, because obviously we're here for the long haul. But this is demoralizing, Rob. This is very demoralizing.
Yeah, I mean, this is how it's been for the last 2 weeks with this team. Can't score. When you got opportunities to get insurance runs, you don't do it. And on top of it, the walks have been killing our pitchers, and it's been leading to innings like we just saw. Once again, 4 runs in this inning. 4.
And he did it to himself, too, because it's not like he was walking the top of the order. The bottom of the order was who he was walking, and it set up the big guys in Schwarber, Realmuto, and Bryce Harper. You're playing the best team in baseball record-wise. You can't do that. You can't make those mistakes against the best team in baseball. It's unfathomable. It really is. I'm frustrated, man.
Yeah, and look, if you're gonna nitpick and try to be around the zone with a guy like Schwarber, Harper, Realmuto, Bohm, Stott, fine. If you have like 3 walks in the inning and it's facing those guys, I can understand it. I don't like it, but I understand it.
Sure.
Because you're trying to make that perfect pitch. Not to a 7, 8, and 9 that nobody. Have you heard of these guys? No. Like, come on. 7, 8, and 9. If they beat you with the bat, you tip your cap and say, all right, shit. I try to stay in the zone. I try to, throw strikes against the bottom of the order to not flip the order over to the better hitters. And 3 walks in the inning lead to this shit by the big guys on the roster right now.
Yeah. Guys, it's brutal. It's a brutal time to be a Mets fan right now. There's not much process-wise that's going right. So if anything, just hit the thumbs up on the stream and help us out, and at least
Yeah,
give us that. At least give us that. Please just hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. This is being streamed to my YouTube channel and Rob's, by the way, as well. So make sure you hit the thumbs up on both streams. This is bad baseball, man. This is bad baseball. There's going to be big changes happening at this deadline if this keeps up.
Yep.
And Bohm rips one to center field. Harrison Bader, nice play. Bryce Harper tagging. It was a good contact. He just hit in the wrong part of the ballpark.
That was a quick commercial too. That shit came out of nowhere.
Yeah, they've been doing that. The first pitch too earlier in the first inning was just like out of nowhere. First pitch, boom. No, Gonzalo, that's what we're not doing. We're not firing Mendoza. There's no Mendoza. This is not Mendoza's fault.
Mendoza, guys. It's not.
No, it's not Mendoza. We're not doing that.
It's a nice game. Last.
We talk about the special coaches in terms of Jeremy Hefner and Eric Chavez. Sure, they can be gone all they want. I don't need Eric Chavez in here talking about contact this, contact that. Great. We've seen contact. The Mets have been one of the best teams in terms of not striking out. They said in that Tampa Bay Rays series, but the weak contact doesn't play at the major league level.
Yes.
Parenthetically, this is now an official game. Although there is no more rain.
And we'll talk about the offense. I have a point to get off, like when the Mets come up to bat, but we have Grant Hartwig here, who was actually just recalled yesterday as well in that plethora of moves. This is as bad as it gets, man. This is as bad as it gets. This is brutal.
Castellanos at the base hit to right field, trying to stretch it in the fourth. It was thrown out. He pulls this one down.
Wow. What a snag by Vientos. Holy cow.
Nice play. Nice play.
That was a dart that he just threw too. Holy cow.
Yeah, with the weather and the way the ground is right now, it's a great play. That's a nice play.
Yeah,
Saved the run.
That almost seemed like a backhand to me too, but he actually got his glove around in a natural position. It was weird. Weird play, great play. And the Phillies take the lead 5-2 after scoring 4 runs on how many walks? 3 walks in that inning? 4 walks?
Yep. 3 walks.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I don't know, guys. I'm speechless at this point because it's simple mistakes, simple situations where the bottom of the order, you should be getting through this inning with no issue. And what happens? The bottom of the order, you let get away from you, and the big boys do what the big boys do. You know what, though? If it was flipped around and Suarez would have walked the 7, 8, and 9 hitters, do you really think our top guys would have added 4 runs? Not only took the lead, but gave his pitcher insurance runs now. Now Suarez is going to go out there, got a 3-run lead. You don't think he's going to feel more comfortable? Of course he is, especially with a Mets team that can't get more than 1, maybe 2 runs in an inning. Like, this is a comfortable lead right now.
And I can tell you what he's not going to do. He's not going to pity-patty his way around the strike zone. He's going to go right after these hitters, which is going to make it harder for the Mets that already can't make solid contact enough. And that's what a lead breathing room does. And this is why we're stressing for the Mets to do it on the opposite side, and they just can't.
Yeah. God.
And Treese, I agree with you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not expecting Jeremy Hefner to hold these guys' hands. But when you have a multitude of pitchers that just like have these consistent issues, like this is a consistent thing at this point. And at this point, if you're a major league pitcher and you've gotten to the major league level and you're walking the ballpark consistently, like there's something mechanically going wrong. And that is where Jeremy Hefner, it is his job to step up and the walks to start dying down, because there needs to be a mechanical fix there. Whether you're falling off the mound too much, etc., doesn't matter. And that's where I do blame Jeremy Hefner. So I agree with your point, but I think you have to look at also the flip side of it. And Ranger Suarez is out of the ballgame. Spencer Turnbull is now in. That's kind of a questionable move. What was his pitch count?
I don't know, but maybe they just didn't feel comfortable with him because he really wasn't pitching well. The Mets just happened to just not be any good with runners on. I don't know. Weird.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they just decided to cut their losses. If so, if Ranger Suarez goes up to Rob Thompson's like, I just don't have it today, make the move. More power to him. You listen to your pitcher.
All right, well, 5-2 Phillies, top of the sixth. Mets better get going, or it's going to be another loss to the Phillies.
Yep.
Cash in against from the 6 runners on base. It is 5. We did the batter's boxes and this stuff now. They could do it again. That turnbull just this way, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lead stats.
Brutal. Brutal.
See, Marte is the end of that. Marte that Bader had a deal for the Mets in the 6th.
Look, Easy, I agree with you on that. Like, we've been saying this for years. Like, Hefter has been kept his job over, 3 different regime changes? And you know what? A lot of people around baseball like Jeremy Hefner. He would get a job tomorrow if the Mets fire him. They like him around the league for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Makes no sense to me.
I don't get it.
Questions about what the Phillies would do if they go to the 6th.
Look at that Mets dugout, man. It just looks deflated. Looks like there's no energy.
You know, it's hard to like get after them on that because like they're trying to figure it out. It's not like they're just sitting there, what are you eating after the game? They're trying to figure it out. It's just not coming to them right now. But good at bat by Marte here in the 6th to lead off the inning. Full count.
Full count. I agree. Hopefully we can get on, start something here, maybe a mini rally, but instead it's a weak ground ball to the second baseman. How many times have we seen this? Weak contact, ground ball. Yes, we love contact. We love playing small ball. We won 101 games doing so in 2022. Well, you know what? When you prioritize weak contact over intentional swings, and that's what the Mets aren't doing right now. They're not swinging intentionally and with a purpose to do damage. They're swinging defensively with the purpose to put the ball in play to not strike out. And you're not going to get on base. You're not going to start rallies that way. I'm sorry. This is the major leagues. It's an outdated hitting approach, and Eric Chavez is the culprit of that. Let's just call a spade for what it is. It really is. And every single time I listen to Eric Chavez go through what his approach is and what he tells the Mets hitters, I pray that he's not actually telling them that and he's only telling that to the media, because it is just it's honestly minor league stuff. It's not even major league level advice that he is portraying.
Yeah.
The New York Yankees, Bill Henson, again, beat them. That's how long ago it was.
Explosive. I agree with you. This is a boring team. I'm sitting here yawning every couple minutes. I might have to go and make myself another cup of coffee here at 8:22 to try to get this one through and get to the 9th inning, because this is just absolutely brutal. This offense is putting me to sleep, and the pitching is not doing any better. Obviously, Joey Casey that half inning.
Yeah, I'm about to take a shot of nitro. That's how much they're putting me to sleep.
Strikes in 2-2.
That and we played first in Detroit.
Oh man, I'd rather be at work.
That's saying something. If you got a Mets fan saying they'd rather be at work with how hard Rob grinds at the new job, then you know you're doing something wrong as a team, man.
Another full count. They're working accounts, and they're still taking weak contact.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, working the counts is great, but like when you're down 5-2, you need some quality contact. Let's see what Bader does right here.
Signing free agent with the Phillies.
Another rollover to the shortstop. Fantastic. How many times are we going to see these great at-bats, quote unquote, work the counts 3-2, you get a fastball and you roll over? This is unbelievable. Like, are we like waking up to realize that this is just unsustainable? And even those lucky, like, I obviously was riding out the wave with Brett Beatty and all those sort of bloopers that he got for hits and the lucky contact and the lucky sort of hits that he was getting early on. Obviously, there is a little bit of luck involved there, and I don't want to diminish what he was doing early on the season, but you're starting to see even him when he's in the game. I know he's not playing today. Just the weak contact doesn't play over the course of 162. Jeff McNeil, another guy, weak contact, weak contact, weak contact. It's horrible, man. It's a bad process and it's bad results. That's what it is.
I agree. You said it perfectly.
Just adjusting
There ain't really nothing for me to add. It's perfect. Exactly what you said.
now.
Oh, bring up
insult
Acuna.
to injury. Wow.
This is a pitch that if he didn't swing and foul it off.
What are you going to say, Rob? Sorry.
It's time for Acuna. He's hurt. Bring him up.
He's just really chasing that cutter.
Yeah, that's brutal. That was a couple balls off the inner part of the plate. Jeff McNeil tried to turn on it, and he fouled it right off his knee, I believe. It looks like his knee
Oh, shin.
or shin. I think they're looking at that knee, man. Let's see where the next
You might be
contact.
right. Left knee.
Yeah, right off his knee, the top
Ooh.
part of his knee.
Wow. Hit it off your left knee. That's how badly he's hitting right now. That a ball was so far inside that he swung at a pitch that he fouled off his left knee, not his right knee, his left knee.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do. Yeah,
No,
take
that's
him
not
out.
easy to do.
Oh, we don't have an
That's very
infielder.
unusual. We talked about it earlier this stream. If one of these guys gets hurt, who's coming in? And it looks like Brett Beatty is going to be the one playing second base for the Mets in the rest of this ball
I
game
love
because they
it.
don't have another
I
middle
love
infielder.
it. Oh, yes, I love it. Brett Beatty playing second base, baby. Let's go.
I think he's going to stick this at bat out, and maybe they pull him in the half inning. But that's a big, big stinger. Like, I've done that myself a couple of times in my day, and that is never fun. That's actually really dangerous, too, in terms of, like, any sort of fractures that could come about that knee, too.
Jeff McNeil don't want to get
man.
Wally tipped.
Certainly late. Dealing with a knee injury of his own. Not the last.
All right, Jeff. Maybe you can stay on that back lane and maybe drive a ball. How about that?
Brett Beatty's like, get me in this ball game right now.
Come on, Jeff.
All right, Jeff staying in for the time being. 2-1 count.
Beatty's left-handed bat up there against Turnbull. I get the running.
Choking up a little bit on that bat. I see about 2 inches of a choke right there.
I like to see that. Nice play.
All right. Grounds out. Good play by Bryce Harper. I'm not going to lie to you. That was decent contact. He tried to find the hole, but he doesn't look right in terms of actually running on a ball. He does not look right.
Take him out, bring up, put Beatty at second base. Look, you get to see Beatty at second. Maybe he shows you something. Who knows? Yeah, Brooks Raley for second base. He can't throw the ball, so it's not going to be good to put him at second.
Love the comments, guys. Keep them coming our way. Drop your comments in the live chat. Hit the thumbs up, being streamed to both YouTube channels. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here. Yes, Star Wars 99. Jeff is injured. Curious if he sticks into this ball game, if he sticks it out. I'm curious.
Oh, we'll see. But hey, you know, it's interesting though, because like a lot of people are saying it in the chat. We've been saying it. The boring play by the Mets. The lack of energy from this offense, like the walk just demoralize a fan base, demoralize a team. It starts to become not just a bad team, it becomes bad habits. And when bad habits happen, you lose games in any way possible. Ninth inning with Diaz, with your closer on the mound with a lead. Yesterday, basically a no-show with Nola pitching a complete game. Today, you look like you have a little bit of a spark early on. You had chances to add some insurance runs. You don't, and it leads to you know what? We can kill Lucchesi for walking the bottom half of the lineup, but guess what? He had to be perfect because the Mets didn't add insurance runs to give him a little bit of breathing room. And maybe he started to feel the pressure once he walked the second guy. You noticed he started to tighten up. His mechanics were off. Couldn't throw the ball over the plate. All that is a trickle down from not giving your pitcher insurance runs as well. And you can't be perfect. This is the team that score runs. It's the Phillies. They score runs. You can't keep not getting runs and getting those insurance runs. And we just knock somebody on his ass. Perfect. I like it. Let's have a brawl. Fuck it. Where's Rempe? Bring him out.
Yeah, where's Rempe, the enforcer? This is,
Go.
I mean, just from a pitching perspective, man, I know Grant Hartwig's not supposed to be on this team. I know he's not supposed to be here. That's just nowhere even close to being competitive pitch, man. It's nowhere even close.
And that was a fastball, too. You're not supposed to have that bad of control with your fastball as a major leaguer. You're just not.
You think he lost control of that? There's no way he missed that badly, man.
No, I you know what? Maybe they have a history back in the minors, maybe. They did play against each other in the minors, so I don't know.
That was almost a shot where he did not want that to go. It was right on the inner thigh. It had all the makings. I hope he's wearing an actual cup because that would have been bad.
That is the worst spot to get hit, man. That hurts. I know when I was in high school, my last game in the playoffs, my senior year, I got hit by a pitch on the inner thigh, and I had to deal with that for the last half inning and watch the other team celebrate. Oh boy, here we go.
Quick base hit to right field. Now it's first and third, just like that for the Philadelphia Phillies. No outs, just like that.
And guess what? Bottom of the order.
Yeah, this is brutal. Like there's only so much that we can say here, Rob, too. Like, I think we've been trying to give the answers as to, why the Mets made the offseason moves they did. We gave our answers. Why XYZ person made the team over the other. We gave our answers. And now it's just the time to just put up or shut up if you're the New York Mets. And they're shutting up, and they're shutting us up too, because we have no more excuses left to sort of give them. And we're not going to. We're not going to. We're going to call it as it is. This is horrible baseball. We have no idea, what the fix is here. We know you got to stop walking batters. We know that. What's the fix, though? And that's not what we get paid for. That's what Jeremy Hefner gets paid for, going back to Pantreese's comment in the comment section. That is somebody else's job.
Yeah. 69. Well, I keep on going back. The pitchers have to be perfect. And when it's a tight game and they got to be perfect, what happens? Eventually you're going to make a mistake, and it's going to cause issues. They're going to get tight. They feel like they have to make every single pitch because the offense don't give them any breathing room. I know Easy brought up Quintana had a 3-0 lead. I understand that, but that hasn't happened a lot. 3 times maybe this year where the Mets had a couple of run lead, giving their pitchers insurance runs. It doesn't happen. The Mets are usually behind or tied or have a 1-run lead where your pitcher has to be perfect or have to limit the damage. That's a problem. And listen, you know what, Chris? We said, what else can we say? You know what we can say? Listen, this team continues to lose with the core, the main guys, the core. You have to make changes. You just have to. And where's that pitch?
Yeah, Stevie, you're right in the comment section. At this rate, JD Martinez will find a playoff contender home by the deadline. Yep. It's going to be a half a season of JD Martinez. But he won't be the only one. It'll be a half season of JD Martinez, just like it was a half season of Mr. Justin Verlander.
Yep. Tony, half this rotation will be gone by July, by the deadline. Hey, Stern set it up that way. He gave all these
Yeah.
guys 1-year deals or 1 year and an option for that reason. He gave himself options at the deadline. Either if we're doing well, we'll buy. If we're not, he has all the options to sell.
3-2. Bouncing ball.
Oh my goodness. All right, he still recovers for the out.
Yeah, it would have been a double play had he fielded it.
I guess he wasn't as good, huh?
This is a good comment here. I want to say NY committee saying the Nationals with a bunch of no names are playing more competitive baseball and ahead of us in the standings. And they also basically rebuilt this team. This is their rebuild team that they're still rebuilding, and they're going to be competitive. Honestly, not this year, right? But next year, the year after, they have all the tools to be competitive because they're playing with a young, energized team. And that's what the Mets are not. The core is not young. They don't look like they're energized, right? Maybe outside of Brandon Nimmo. I know Pete Alonso's been doing well here recently, but they're not energized all in all. The young guys on this team may not even be here next year when you're talking about Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos. Obviously, Alvarez is going to be here. He's hurt right now and on the shelf. Like, it's a completely different makeup of the team, and this is why big changes are going to happen in the offseason and at the deadline to try to move this team in more of a Nationals direction in terms of being more athletic, being younger, and being more energized to change this clubhouse vibe.
Yeah, and look, David Stearns. This isn't his team yet. This isn't most of his players. He hasn't put his stamp on his team. He's trying to, put like, Elmer's glue on this team to try to do something with this team. So, he's got to work his magic. It takes time to do that. But what people, you're talking about the Nationals, right? They went through a lot of seasons where they were basically irrelevant for many years to get to be a little bit better, maybe a 500 team. That takes years. Unless you want the Mets to completely break up everything down and lose 90-plus games for 4 or 5 years, it's not going to happen. Like, they're the mediocre team that's trying to find their way. That's basically what it is right now.
Oh, chat saying McNeil error.
Of course.
Let's see what fashion. We're a little bit behind. We apologize. We're streaming this on the SNY app. Oh, goodness. I mean, it was a good stop, but that's just a horrible throw, man. You got to realize who the hitter is. You got to realize the speed. You didn't have to rush that throw. Situational baseball lacking yet again for the New York Mets.
Yep.
I mean, great stop.
He had time.
He had a lot of time. Why rush? Schwarber was barely even running. What are you doing? Brutal.
It was the first error charged to the Mets. The Phillies have been charged with 2. But there's been
yeah, that's a great comment by Jay here, saying that this team was built around Lindor. He's a great shortstop, but he's not the hitter that he was signed here to be. He's not. And that's why obviously that contract is going to be very hard to get rid of. Don't build it around Lindor. Get young pieces and move him out of the 3 hole. I've been a proponent for moving out of the 3 hole for such a long time. I don't know, man. This offseason, I said there's going to need to be lineup shakeups. We talked about it.
Here's where I appreciate the comment from what was it, Jay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate the comment, but it's not true. They built this team around Alonso. All right. Lindor was the add-on. Like, you can call him the second guy, absolutely, but he is not the guy. Like, did you expect him to be 100-plus home run guy, 35 home runs? He's not that player. He never was. He was that player early on with Cleveland. He's a 25 home run guy, 90 RBIs, 90 to 95 RBI guy. That's what he's been. Pete Alonso is the guy. They built this team around Pete Alonso. Like, we can kill Lindor all you want. This is the problem that I have with a lot of fans. Stop only blaming Lindor. They did not build this team around Lindor. They built this team around Alonso, right? Alonso was here 2 years prior to Francisco Lindor. They built this team around Alonso. Lindor hasn't been great. I'm not going to say he was, but Lindor has put up numbers consistent with what he's done the last couple of seasons prior to being traded to the Mets. Like
I just don't think he's a 3-hitter, Rob. I just don't think he's a 3-hitter.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you there. But there's, the way baseball is now, it doesn't really matter where you bat anymore. The fact of the matter is Lindor puts 25 home runs or more with 90-plus RBIs. You can put him in the 2-hole. You can put him in the 4-hole, lead off. He's going to be that type of guy. Now, if you put him in lead off, he's not going to have those RBIs. So he's not that – batting him third is irrelevant. Like, you can bat him seventh. You're not gaining anything if he's still going to bat 25 and 95. It's not helping the lineup anyway, because who are you going to put in that third spot? You're going to put Pete in that third spot? You can put JD Martinez in the cleanup spot, but for the other years, what are you really going to do? So I don't really like – they built this team around Alonso. They didn't build this team around anybody else. So
breaking news, by the way, there was a article that was put out there, not really sure by who, someone named Mac, saying, let's blow it up. And breaking news, quite literally just 1 minute ago, Steve Cohen, tweeted back saying, all in the future, not much we can do until the trade deadline. So it's a serious consideration, and they're keeping their eyes out on this trade deadline market, man.
Well, you know what? Good for Steve Cohen for saying that, because now Mets fans, don't be mad at the deadline if that does happen, because your owner just told you that it could.
Yeah. Which I'm not mad at. I'm never going to be mad at that. I love the transparency.
If you came into this season thinking that this wasn't a possibility with everybody on the roster, then you aren't paying attention and you're too in your emotions towards players than anything else. Hey, we got a leadoff hit from Nito. Come back.
Nice, Nito. Finally. There we go. We found a hole. But yeah, no, I mean, I like the transparency. And if that, like, I honestly was very a big proponent of not believing the idea that Pete Alonso was going to get traded. I always knew that was a possibility, but I had enough confidence in this team moving forward to be like, okay, if they're competitive enough, they're going to, stick it through with Pete Alonso. But with that tweet right there that Steve Cohen just threw out there on X, you can go check it yourself if you want to. That is danger territory in terms of Pete Alonso being a New York Met in the future. And like you said, Rob, and you said this time and time again, how did David Stearns build this team? He built it with an escape route. He built himself a fire escape. If everything went wrong and you need to get out of there, you got the 1-year deals to get out of there and continue to build for your future. He really did. And I commend him for that. I really did. I really do. And I still do.
Yeah. And, who was it? I'm sorry. Yeah, again, Justin, they didn't build this team around Lindor. They just didn't, right? Lindor didn't block anybody from getting on this team, right? The Mets spent a ton of money after Lindor was already signed. So you're wrong about that. Now, you can say they were the wrong players they brought in, yes, but it didn't stop them from being the highest payroll. He hasn't done anything, and the Mets had first and second with nobody out.
Right. Let's see what the Mets can do. Another situation with runners in scoring position. The meat of your lineup is coming up. What do they do? We just talked about it right here. This is the guy right here, Mr. Pete Alonso. He's here. This is the situation you need to see Pete Alonso come through. Will he do it?
This is where I want to see Pete and Lindor drive in runs. Not JD, even though that's great. I just want to see them do it because they've been not doing it this year with runners on. Come on, Pete.
Ball and strike. That's return ball. Pitch is
1-1 count. One run first and second, no outs. They're giving Alonso a steady heap of off-speed pitches. Be surprised if he sees a fastball here. And he didn't. And he grounds out. And he grounds out into a double play. There you go.
I got rid of that ball quickly, too.
This is kind of what we're talking about, right, Rob? I mean, you just said it.
I thought he beat it.
They're challenging it. It's close.
3 straight off-speed pitches, by the way, to Pete Alonso.
Phillies are challenging.
I think they're challenging just as maybe we'll get lucky. Because I think he was safe.
Looks like
I
he
think
was
it
safe. At least he was booking it down the line.
Yeah. You see, and again, you know, like this is the problem. This is not just Pete Alonso. This is also Lindor as well that I'm going to get on. But the fact of the matter is, this is a situation where you saw Harper, Real Muto, those guys come up with the bottom of the order doing something, get it on base, and what happened? He grounds it softly. He might be out.
Yeah, it's bang, bang play.
I don't think they can change it. They call him safe. I think they got to keep this call. Too close.
He's out. They got to keep that call. It was literally a tie goes to the runner. I can't see them overturning this now with the way the MLB replay set up.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. If he looks out, but it has to be conclusive because he called him safe on the field, right? That's the whole point of the rule.
He's out. He's out.
Close.
He's
I think it's too close to call. I think they got to keep the call. But if I was making a call, I would say he's out.
Junior, this team is boring. Daniel's saying double play. NY committee's saying dumb challenge. I think that was a little bit of a desperation challenge, right?
Desperation? Let's see.
I think it was a desperation challenge. I
Call
really
him out.
Yeah, he's out.
Well, he's the face of your franchise. There's a team you built him around. That's what happens. How many more times?
Not when the ball not in the glove, Barry, right? And he has to make contact with something in the interior of the glove. And
that's such a bang bang play right there.
I'm surprised they changed it though, to be honest, because they called him safe on the field.
Oh, they called him safe on the field?
Yeah.
How do you change that then? With the way the MLB replay's been set up, I thought they called him out on the field. That's why I was like, it's not being overturned. But that's bullshit. I'm sorry. The MLB needs to be more consistent about that or just change the structure of the rule in general. That's BS. If he was called safe, I didn't see what they called him at. I'm just going to trust your word for that. But
very successful with giving that shit to ball on the ground. All of his outs.
Hey, look, here's another guy. Listen, even if you want to call him number one, the guy that they built around or not, they got to get the job. Look, 2 outs, guy on third base. Get the run in. Make it a game. Make it a game.
Pete Alonso's not happy in that dugout. That is a face of frustration right there. That's important to notice.
Well, you know what? Don't hit a lowly ground ball to third base. You wouldn't have that issue.
Yeah.
Drive the ball. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
Put some mustard on it. He knew he had to. Second baseman with a shortstop's arm.
2-out RBI would be really nice right now, Mr. Lindor. All right. I like the swing. I like the swing.
Scott's a nice player. Let me tell you. Nice run. Good glove. Seems hard-nosed.
Gonzalo saying Lindor pop up.
So he runs the whole series here. He's run the ball hard at first base.
Lindor gets one here to second field. Rojas back.
Wow.
In front of the warning track. And every time it's a side. 7th inning.
Well,
there's your middle of the order right there. You want to know why the Mets offense is dead? Because those two guys collectively as a unit. And honestly, when we're talking about who the Mets built this team around, I could care less if it's around Lindor or around Pete Alonso. The fact of the matter is that both of those guys right now aren't doing their job. And yes, Lindor picked it up in the second half of last year as well. And I loved it because he really did come out hot. But at that point when he picked it up as well to play devil's advocate, there also was no pressure on him to start performing there because the Mets were out of it at that point. They needed him earlier, and he couldn't provide. And I know
I agree.
Lindor's a habitual second half hitter, but there's really just no excuse for that anymore, especially when a team is in a rut like this.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Look. I know Met fans are, they're never going to pick Lindor over Pete Alonso. I get that. And that's understandable. But yeah, look, it's both of them. It's not just one player anymore. Like, you can pick any guy you want to be, who they built them around, who they built this team around, or anything like that. They're both not getting the job done. You can call Lindor out, you can call Pete Alonso out. That's just the way it is. And that's what we have to deal with. And again, this is the situation that I've been talking about for a while. The fact of the matter is, not only did David Stearns give him an escape plan at the deadline with all the one-year deals, but he put himself in a position where he let Alonso prove himself once again. He allowed Jeff McNeil, that is a tradable contract, to prove himself. Now, Lindor is probably not. I mean, anybody's tradable depending on how much money Steve Cohen is willing to put on the contract and pay the contract to get prospects, whatever they might do. But right now, Lindor and Nimmo's contract is not tradable, right? Two guys are available, possibly tradable, and that's Alonso and McNeil. At some point, this core is considered a losing core. They've been together for a while now. One winning season and a disaster in the postseason. You have to make changes. You can't keep on bringing up the same core and blame everybody else like it's everybody else's fault except them when it's not true.
And the path for the Mets, now that Steve Cohen has kind of publicly came out and said that they are, if worst case comes to worst, already thinking about the trade deadline. There's not really much they can do right now. They've kind of already admitted that. And speaking of the devil here, Adrian Hauser coming off of the out of the bullpen here for the Mets in the seventh inning. I think that who just said it here. NY committee is saying Lindor's hours, getting rid of that contract is next to impossible. And you're right, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, much more movable guys that are part of this core. And the way forward for the Mets, if all things remain consistent here with this play, is obviously you have to start building at that point around Lindor as that main piece. You let Pete Alonso go and you move Lindor to maybe like a leadoff hitter type role, maybe a little bit of a lesser role in the lineup, and you let the young kids come up, whoever that may be, and take a little bit more control of this lineup. Maybe Alvarez gets put into a different situation. But if that's the case, then Rob, we're not going to be talking about competitive World Series contending baseball. Probably not until maybe 2026.
Yeah.
And unless you think there's a way that they can build this team up from the ground up via free agency to be World Series contenders in 2025, I just don't think it's feasible.
I don't know. I don't know. See, here's the problem. Are the Mets now? We all heard last trade deadline that it was all about 2025. Right, that's what they talked about. The prospects, a lot of them should be ready. Mauricio will be coming back. Juan Soto talk. The Mets won't have a rotation. They need to set up their rotation. So I honestly don't know what they're gonna do. I really don't. It's really a question mark at this point. You just got 120 plus games to go.
Yeah, I agree. Leadoff single by the Phillies. Alec Boehm's now up. Adrian Hauser on the mound. Believe now the Phillies have first and second, nobody out. And Adrian Hauser is just looking like
just finding holes.
Yeah. I mean, that's really it. Frustrating. It's frustrating. Funny enough, I mean, I know people are going to hate on it because what really is the end goal of this season, but the Mets are only a half game out of the wild card. And I just see them sticking around just enough to make that decision hard for the New York Mets to do. But like, are the Mets and David Stearns going to pass up a valuable opportunity to rebuild and continue to rebuild this team, even if they're like 3 games out of a wild card? It's going to be a hard sell to this fan base, but I could see them still doing it.
Well, I know it's funny you said they're only half a game out of a wild card, but we knew this going into the year. There wasn't a lot of good teams in the National League. There's a lot of teams that are underperforming as well, other than the Dodgers, the Braves, the Phillies, and one, maybe two teams in the Central. The third wild card is very attainable by a mediocre team that could, like, it's the third wild card team is going to be between 84, maybe even 83 to 85 wins. It's just been that way the last couple of years. Like that's what it's going to be. You know, it's just a matter of if the Mets are within 3 games by the deadline, I don't know if Stearns is going to pull the trigger and sell. It's going to be hard to do. But it is also how you get there as well. Like you could be playing well into the trade deadline, you know? Like you could be 3 games out, but playing well over the month of July and change, you know, could mean buying rather than selling, depending on how you're playing.
I mean, last year the Mets were still in the wild card race. I mean, 5-6 games back when they made all their moves anyways. So I really don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see. But Agent Hauser gets the first out. Still first and second, 1 out here. 7-2 Phillies lead the ball game. This is just absolutely brutal to watch, man. What else can we say? And providing no excitement. Man. Appreciate everyone being in the chat here with us, though, despite the circumstances. We definitely appreciate it.
Listen, I have over 90 in the chat on my channel right now. I do appreciate it. With the Mets playing like crap, to enjoy talking back and forth because the Mets are not showing any life. So we have to do it for you, and you do it for us.
Strike 2, Scott was 2. Scott was hit on the late back pitch to start the 6th inning. That came around to score. Scripps is on base.
Justin, it might sound funny, but look where the Arizona Diamondbacks were, and see how fast they rolled up in the second half. Like, you don't have to be really good. If you stay within a little bit above average, mediocre-wise, you can make it. And Arizona wasn't a very good team. I'm sorry. Look at their record right now. They brought better players. They got better players in free agency and basically the same team. And they're just as bad as the Mets right now. So, bases loaded. That should have been a strike, by the way. The other pitch. Oh, Chris, I think you're on mute.
Oh, I said that pitch prior to that should have been a strike for sure.
92 walks, 376 innings.
Lindor error now. This energy is just feeding off one to the next, to the next, to the next. The surest glove out there in the field besides Harrison Bader makes an error. Sloppy, man.
Wow. Everything is going wrong right now, guys. Everything.
This is like rock bottom, it feels like. It feels like it's rock bottom.
That's an error on Sosa. RBI with Sosa to make it 8-2.
It's just like
Justin,
the energy. They're just feeding off of each other in terms of just their heads aren't in the game, man. It's just like I don't know. Sometimes all you can do is laugh, Gonzalo. Sometimes all you can do is laugh. Wishful thinking, Jay. Let's hope. That's wishful thinking.
Third, but Vientos didn't have the play late. Was able to get the out at first, but that led to another run.
Jay's like, maybe this year June will be the Mets month.
Now with the Phillies making both these mistakes early in the game.
Maybe in a million years.
Yeah, here's the difference, right? When the Phillies made the mistakes, right, the Mets didn't capitalize on enough mistakes. The Phillies capitalized on almost every Mets mistake defensively. Big difference in the game.
To the Pache with the base loaded and 1 out. It's fly ball to center. That'll get
That's
a run.
another run.
Bader gets behind it. Ball tags to third. Ball will go to the score. The throw goes to third and sliding it safely there. It is Scott, and Sosa moves up behind the play to second.
Yeah, at least we got a Ryan Clifford promotion here recently to Double-A. That's another big bat that should be on his way up to Queens maybe sometime next year.
Yep.
Sosa to get the scoring position as well.
And he missed the cutoff man as well. And we're gonna get picky here. It's not really picky, it's just fundamentals. Really been better off.
I'll be right back in 1 second.
Yes, sir.
2 out now. Rojas. And he takes a strike. Rojas 0 for 2. He had a sacrifice in the fifth. It's another mistake by the Mets. First and second, Rojas laid down a bunt. Lucchesi went to third, too late, and that loaded up the bases. Sinker taking low, ball to strike.
Oh, guys, I don't know anymore.
Scott now at third, Sosa at second and 2 out. And Rojas is off the thumbs down to third. Vientos has a tag play, but doesn't take it. And everybody's safe, and the run comes in.
What are we doing?
Sosa from third base, and instead of looking to try to tag him, he looked to first base where he had no play. Scott comes in the score, and it's 10-2.
Well, the momentum is gonna carry it in front of the bag. You're right here. We could have just stayed right on the bag and.
Like, why aren't you taking third base?
And that's just really playing.
And this is why Vientos isn't a major league player. Because of the fact that he has no position. What are you doing? Step on third.
Let's see. He waits right there for the ball. He's got easy tag. He's also worried about the ball hitting the base. That's a tough one. It's snowball. What's Murphy's law?
And this is why you don't play Vientos at third. It's simple plays like that. You step on third, the inning's over. What are you doing? Bad fundamentals all around.
If it hit the base, he would have been open slow. Schwarber, the batter, has been on base 3 times in a row with 2 singles and a walk. Scored a run, scored that run. Balls behind it 2-0. Schwarber, the 8th man of the inning, the Phillies have scored 3 times.
Oh, good, huh?
Great multiple in 1 inning. They scored 4.
For some reason, Vientos didn't touch the bag for whatever reason.
Was it bases loaded?
Yeah.
On the set, there we did like this.
Look, Hauser should have been out of the inning. It should have still been 7-2. Lindor missed the double play. Vientos forgot how to play baseball. And this is why we talk about Vientos and the problem with the Mets with Vientos. He's positionless. He's not a third baseman. He's not a first baseman. Like, unless you're hitting 350 and hitting bombs all over the place, you're not a good player.
I agree. I agree with that assessment.
Look, I want
He
him
can't play third base.
No, he can't. Look, the Mets were forced to put him in because the offense has been lackluster. They try to get his bat into the lineup. But you can't make stupid plays like that, and this is not the only play today. Yay! And he strikes him out. Mets trail by 8. 10-2 Phillies going to the top of the 8th. I don't even know what to say anymore. I really don't.
There's nothing to say, Rob. There's nothing to say about this team. They stink. They're bad. you can only have delusional positivity for so long. Like our jobs up here, and the reason why we do this is to talk about this team in an objective manner. When they play good baseball, we don't hesitate to give them their kudos. We are
Yeah.
obviously always rooting for them, but when they play bad baseball, it's undeniable. It's undeniable, and they're playing some of the worst baseball that we've probably ever seen them play in the last few years.
Wow.
I will say that. It's hard to trump 2023 in terms of that category, but tonight is a prime example of 2023 vibes. Really.
Well, I want to bring up a comment from Justin when he said Vientos will be out DH at the All-Star break when you trade Martinez. Wonderful. So he's going to look really well when there's no pressure. And then everybody's going to be like, oh, I told you Vientos should be up all this time. No, because the same reason as you bullshit your way through Lindor and Alonso, who paid their stats in the month of August and September when there's no pressure on them, because the most pressure they ever had was in September when March Day went down in 2022, and they showed that they couldn't handle the pressure. When their team, where the main guys were there, Marte was out, and their offense was lackluster in September in 2022. The fact of the matter is, Vientos can be the DH after Martinez gets traded in July, and then when he bats 260 and hits probably 10 to 12 home runs, everybody's going to fall in love with him again like he's the best thing since sliced bread, and you're giving a guy credit where there's no pressure. I don't want to hear Vientos anymore. Vientos is positionless. He's a guy that is not a good baseball player. How many times you got to say it until you get it through you guys' heads? Stop falling in love with these guys who are mediocre at best. You know how many teams passed on when the Mets were trying to trade Vientos? There's a reason for it. He's not that good. He's not even a top 10 prospect. Because the Mets prospects list sucked for a while, that's why he was in the top 10. Not because he was a good prospect. Get that through your head, guys. You got to understand that. Sorry.
No, I mean it's valid. I think the Mets fans really they cling on to any sort of success they see. Context matters, obviously. And I think that if we're really going to make this movement from such a mediocre team that we're seeing on display last year and this year to more of like a team that we all hope the Mets can get to someday, I think we need to stop being desperate as fans and start being more objective. And that is, there you go, JD Martinez. That's a bomb. There you go, JD.
At least
Solo
somebody knows
home
how to
run.
hit this team.
At least that woke me up just a little bit. Like that, like got me off my seat a little bit, but
That made me feel better.
ball game. But nonetheless, you know what I'm trying to get at, Rob? Like the Mets, like us as Mets fans, have to stop settling. I feel like we settle for far too much, and we need to expect more than just the bare minimum. Really. There you go, Daniel. If anything, I'm glad that your bets are hitting. Hopefully, you bet that JD Martinez prop.
Yeah, I mean, the old man has to show everybody how they hit. Sorry, but JD Martinez for the last week has been the best player on this team.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Someone said JD Martinez for hitting coach, and I'm not going to lie to you. I would do it in a heartbeat. That man knows exactly what he's talking about in all the videos that I've watched him on MLB Network and other areas where he digests and sort of breaks down his swing and the approach. That man is a guy that I can get behind as a hitting coach.
You know what, guys? You know, Justin, you talk about like how the organization treated Vientos. There you go, Vientos. There you go. Look, 3 regimes treated Vientos the same way. You know why? Because he's not a very good player. They treated Mauricio the same way. They got Lindor that stopped Mauricio, right? Mauricio had every opportunity to just put his head in the ground and not be anybody. You know what he did? He learned a new position. He got to the big leagues by playing second base, by playing third base. Look, the Mets got JD Martinez because they don't trust Vientos. There's your answer. Very
So
simple.
my thing here is, Rob, and I'm agreeing with you in the line of thinking. I think that Mark Vientos elsewhere could be a serviceable player, but him being
Agreed.
positionless is not going to find him playing time on this Mets team, especially for the long haul, the future. And when you talk about a DH in a position that's been lackluster for the Mets, obviously before JD Martinez, who's absolutely been on fire recently, you can't part ways with JD Martinez, which they inevitably will do at the deadline if this keeps up, and expect for Mark Vientos to put up, like you said, 260 and 12 home runs, and then have people say that he should be the DH of the future. The Mets need more. That's accepting the bare minimum to me. I'm not accepting that. And if anything, I think that if Mark Vientos settles in as the full-time DH for the second half of the season, if JD Martinez is gone, it's as a trial run to get his trade value back up, because I have said it before the season even began. I don't see Vientos as a part of this organization as a fit. Not because I think he's a horrible player. I just don't think he's a fit.
Well, that's the other thing too, right? Like Vientos would fit on a team like the Mariners, right? He would probably fit on a team like the Cubs, like teams like that, like teams that don't really need him on the field. Here's the problem: the Mets don't really have a third baseman. They don't trust Beatty enough bat-wise, so they have to use Vientos, who's a butcher at third base, to get a spark with a bat, which Vientos isn't good enough to do that. And now you find yourself in a situation where, let's be honest, guys, if Mauricio didn't get hurt, that's in the gap. Oh, man. Damn. Listen, if Mauricio didn't get hurt, Beatty and Vientos would be in the minors right now because Mauricio would be playing third base. That's how much they believe in Beatty and Vientos. Just that simple. And that's a guy in Mauricio who was stopped by Francisco Lindor, had to play another position because of Francisco Lindor, and still found his way to be a productive player, better than Beatty and Vientos, playing a different position. Yet he would have took their position at third base right away if he never got hurt.
Steve Cohen deleted his tweet. He deleted the tweet.
Love it.
That's funny.
This is beautiful.
He deleted his tweet, but yeah, he basically, I mean, maybe we're just taking it the wrong way and it didn't come across as that.
Maybe he was just snarky.
Maybe he can, but maybe he was being like, if it comes down to that, we will make those adjustments, but we can't even think about right now because one, we're trying to compete, and two, there's nothing else we can do until the deadline kind of approaches. But I don't know, man. It just seems like the writing is on the wall, and they already have their preference, and the Mets team is really going to have to convince this front office to not become sellers. Like, I'm talking about being in an actual wild card spot and not 3 games back of it.
Yeah.
Is that gone?
No.
Oh, my goodness.
I think it went off the end of the bat.
It did. The contact fooled me because I'm listening on mute for our audio. So that fooled me a little bit.
Careful.
Yeah.
Now the wind is blowing directly in now. Not so hard, but
So now Jeff McNeil grounded off his tee last time up and then grounded out first base. A nice play by Harper. And he drives one to right center field. Rojas cutting across.
He dropped it.
Vientos around third. He'll score. And then at second, double is Jeff McNeil. It's now 10-4.
Okay.
Like Rojas.
That center fielder's having a rough go at it, huh?
Round, but the ball clanked off the glove.
that's 2. This is a little more difficult.
He didn't have to dive either.
No.
You gotta make that play, huh?
That should have been caught.
Yeah.
That's bad baseball. Yeah, it is bad business admitting that, Stevie. I agree with you. But the book's already out because the screenshots live on for forever. And people have screenshots of what Steven said. Keep calling him Steven. He's going to be referred to as Steven from now on instead of Steve.
He runs around and now Tomas Nido. He hits one toward the bell.
Hey, we got another run.
He's big away from home. And the Mets get a little closer.
There we go.
Interesting.
10-5.
Second hit of the night.
Is it just
Well,
me, or has Tomas Nido like steadily been compiling decent at bats?
he has.
Yeah.
Why not?
Oh, they're talking about the Mark Canna game, the big comeback in Philly. Can it
I was
happen
gonna
again?
bring it up. I was gonna bring it up, but I didn't want to.
Well, Gary Cohen already jinxed us, so it's not happening.
Of course he did.
There, walk, over 3. That's to keep the line moving.
Not gonna make it for him to say that.
Not that way, no. Although there's nobody throwing behind him in the Phillies bullpen.
There's no one up.
Well, we still got a long test. Still got 5 runs to make up here.
So Sanders' comment, the 2025 Mets infield will be, I'm just not sure why the Mets would go after another 30-plus-year-old first baseman if they're gonna just give up on another one. That's not. I don't think that's feasible.
Yeah, I don't think so.
4 hits in the inning, scored 3 runs.
I mean, then I'll flip them right here, and it's a whole different ballgame.
So it's Alvarado getting.
Well, the Mets are definitely making it a little interesting. Hey, the Mets been one of the best teams in baseball, scoring the most runs 7 through 9 in the inning. So,
Yeah.
which is weird. Which is a team. Which is you think you should have more wins considering that you've been very good in the late innings.
Not getting my hopes up for anything.
Overworked bullpen. Needed a spare part brought in today. Gilmo pulls one and Harper is there to snag it. And that retires.
All right. So the Mets get 3. 10-5, still a tough test to come back and win. Try to win this ball game. A little bit of fight from the boys in orange and blue, but just not there yet, guys. So again, we can keep on talking about what needs to be done, what has to be done. There's 2 things that we know. Number 1, this team will be in the 3rd wild card mix because the teams around the 3rd wild card are just as bad, if not worse, than the Mets. Like,
Yeah.
it's not saying that the Mets. This is not. I want to make this clear. This is not saying that the Mets are a good team because they're not. But look at the rest of the National League besides the top 6 teams. That's it. You can't tell me that the Mets are not a 7, 8, 9, 10 middle of the pack team because that's what they are around everybody else. Nobody's been playing better. They're just as bad as the Mets. So, not saying this team's a playoff team or a wild card team, but we've seen teams like the Phillies who were the worst defensive team in baseball in 2022, couldn't get out of their own way, have a month and a half of great baseball to barely sneak into the playoffs and make the World Series in 2022. Last year, same thing. They were a little bit better during the season. Late in the year, they got hot, went on another run, got beat by a team that got hot for a month and a half in the Arizona Diamondbacks, who made the World Series and showed why they weren't a really good team in the World Series, how they got destroyed against the Rangers. The fact of the matter is, all you got to do is make it. Not saying the Mets are going to win anything, but all you need is a hot streak at a certain point in a season. If the Mets stay close enough, I'm telling you right now, Steve Cohen is not going to allow Stearns to trade off everybody if they're within 3 games of a wild card, regardless of record. It's just is what it is, guys. But we'll see. They're not going to win this game most likely. If they do, I smack myself in the face in front of 100 people right now on my channel. But we'll see. This team has done stupider things, but we'll see. Here we go, guys. 10-5, bottom of the 8th.
Yeah. I don't want to say this because obviously it's all just speculation. We don't know what goes on in the clubhouse, but Brennan just is kind of making the comments saying these players just seem like they're here for the money. It just goes back to that clubhouse problem that we were talking about, right? It just goes back to that lack of fight as Pete Alonso simply just cannot, for the life of him, understand how to throw the ball to the actual lead foot of the pitcher. It's a thing that happens time and time and time again. I understand the conditions are bad, but Pete Alonso This is probably the 20th time this season I've seen you with my own eyes throw a duck of a ball. What is that? What is that? He's just floating the ball up there.
Lead the pitcher when he really needs to.
And Hauser's like, here, he's giving him the glove right in front of him. Throw it here. Please lead me.
Pitcher's perspective.
How
Look.
many times do we I'm not even gonna rant about that. My previous point before Alonso did that, did they call him out still? At least he was still out, but that's bad anyways. My point is that the clubhouse just doesn't seem to have any fight. They don't have characters in there. Like you said time and time again, Rob, who's the leader of this team? Who's going to go out there, be vocal, and get the guys surrounded? Maybe have a players-only meeting or two to say, let's get our head out of our asses. It doesn't seem like they have any leaders. Just have a bunch of followers and a bunch of individuals in the clubhouse. And I forget, and like, it's obvious when former players talk about that.
Yeah.
Zach Short, I'm pretty sure, talked about that here recently as well. The differences in the clubhouse that he's been a part of, because you know that he's an Atlanta Brave now, and he's seen both clubhouses. It's not a secret anymore. This clubhouse is not at all put together in a way that is conducive to winning baseball games and going out there and giving your best effort. And not only giving your best effort, because shit happens. Shit hits the fan, Rob. This is baseball, and it's a hard game. But when shit does hit the fan, how do you get out of it quicker than you got into it? This team doesn't have any tools to help mitigate and fight that off at all.
I agree. Well, quick 1, 2, 3. How about that? Well, Mets got last licks in the ninth, down by 5. Can they pull a miracle?
Middle of the lineup, Alonso, Lindor, JD coming up.
Oh, of course it's going to be those guys. Why would it be anybody else?
And we'll see a Pete Alonso solo home run here.
Typical, to be honest. Look, the fact, look, you talked about leader. We've talked about this over and over again. Pete Alonso's not a leader, right? That's okay. Your face of your franchise doesn't have to be the leader. But you can't act like agent-wise, now finding out you turned down a contract extension that the Mets offered you, right? And say time and time again, I want to be in New York. I want to be in New York. I'm sorry, guys, but Alonso's not getting more than what the Mets offered him in that extension. No team's going to give that to him because Pete Alonso to the Mets is not what teams around the league think of Pete Alonso. Like, we have to understand that. He's not better than Matt Olson. He's not better than Freddie Freeman. He's not getting more than those guys. Until you guys understand that and realize that other teams don't see Pete Alonso like you do and many other Met fans do, don't be shocked by that. Because Pete Alonso might fit the Mets, but he's probably not going to fit other teams. Not for the amount that he might think he's getting. Even if he has a really good year or a similar year. Because teams don't see that around the league as a guy that is going to fit their team. And stats can say a lot of things. Lindor puts up good stats, but does he fit the Mets? Maybe. Possibly. And this is not just about Alonso either. This is about Lindor as well. The fact of the matter is, there's an easier change to make, and Alonso is one of them. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, look, the emotions have to get taken out of this to come back to reality with this entire team. All right, here comes the solo home run, guys.
Get 2 outs. Walk a couple.
It's just nauseating to have these conversations on May 15th consistently. It's just nauseating.
Well, at least see it's a pop-up.
Take care of that for the first out. So for the late round.
1 down.
Because the numbers for Dominguez had a solid year last year, but
Sir Anthony Dominguez, 7+ ERA this season, huh? He's got good stuff.
Yeah. I always liked him. He, as soon as he figured out his wild streak, he's been really good.
Takes a high fastball for a strike. Spencer Turnbull went 3 innings of relief through 54 pitches, 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Ranger Suarez, a pitcher of record on the long side.
Calling the Phillies to the World Series in May never usually quite works out the way you want it to.
Yeah, right. Well, didn't have to make us make it interesting. Why would they?
2 down.
JD Martinez, the batter. JD has a single, and then he homered leading off the 8th inning, his second of the year.
We'll see. I can see Pete Alonso going to the Giants for that contract. I can see it, but not many other teams are going to give it to him.
Right now, third, a 4-pitch inning for Sir Anthony Dominguez. If the Mets go quickly,
all right. What a quick ending. At least they saved us from extended misery, man. At least
I
they saved us from that. 10-5 final.
Well, it was quick, all right. They clearly wanted to get out of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I'm just finishing up the scoreboard here for everybody, so we can talk about this wonderful game that we watched for 2 hours, almost 3 hours. Yeah, Chris.
This is how we devote our time, Rob. This is how we devote our time for the good people of the Mets fandom that's on here on YouTube. And we appreciate you all being here. You're diehards just like us. We just come up on camera and talk about it. But this is disgusting to watch and to devote so much time to. But we do it because we love it. And that's just what it is.
I don't know why we love it, but we love it. And, I had this channel for a couple of years now. And I had one good season, really good season. It was a lot of fun. That's your final score. That's your box score. And that's how the wonderful game that the Mets played today in Philly. But, I understand it's frustrating. I understand. But, Chris, we went through all offseason. About the last month of the offseason, a lot of people were down on this team and didn't think they were going to be any good. So why get mad if you know? Right? A lot of the same people in the chat were not expecting this team to do anything. Look to 2025, right? A lot of people are expecting, understanding that. But guess what? There's always hope and anticipation when you're a fan of a team, regardless of what you thought this team could be in the offseason. Because 2022, nobody thought they were going to be a 100-win team. They thought they might be pushing into a playoff. But other than that, not much more than that. So it's understandable to get frustrated, but I want you to take the emotion, not the frustration, because the frustration's understandable, but the emotion away from the players and towards the organization. Because the players, you're always going to be emotional to because there's an attachment. With the organization, what they might do at the deadline might really get you more frustrated than watching this game that you watched today, because of the fact that Steve Cohen already deleted the tweet, but he already told you, expect it during the deadline if this continues. And guess who's there to blame? You can't blame Mendoza. You can't blame Stearns. You blame the players that are on the field every single day. You blame the core guys because those are the guys that are supposed to put this team on their shoulders, because as of right now, 42 games into the season, the Mets are 19-23. You know who won a lot of those games? Guys not named Lindor, Alonso, McNeil, and Nimmo. It's just a fact. And until you realize that, and until David Stearns, who has no emotional attachment to any of these damn players, is going to make drastic changes if this continues. And I'm 100% on board. And if you're not, you are not paying attention to what's going on the field and using your emotion to let that emotion stick to these players like they're the best thing since Tom Seaver and Darryl Strawberry and Keith Hernandez, when they're nowhere near those guys, and they never will be. Pete Alonso can have the most home runs in Mets history. If he don't have a World Series to show for it, great. When his number 15, 20 years down the line gets retired, we're going to look back and say, well, what did he really win? Right? David Wright had an opportunity, but his back gave out on him. If Pete Alonso remains a Met for the rest of his career and doesn't win anything, you're going to cherish that? You know why Darryl Strawberry, or not even Darryl Strawberry, how about this? Keith Hernandez, number retired, wasn't even a homegrown Met, came from the Cardinals. You know why he's retired? Because of 86. No other reason. He wasn't even the best player on the team. But you know what he was? A fucking leader who got a World Series in 86. Never was the best player on that team, but was a leader, was a fighter. That's why his number's retired. Pete Alonso can have his number retired, but it's only because of the stats if he doesn't help this team win. And since 2019, they've had one winning season with Pete Alonso as the face of the franchise. That's a losing situation going on year 6 on a contract year, Chris. I'm sorry to say it. It's just a fact.
No, I agree with you. And I don't think that roster construction in the MLB is so quite clear cut, but Pete Alonso, I agree with you, doesn't give me the vibe that, one, he's a leader. So if you're not a leader, then you should be impacting the game in a lot of different ways and be able to carry your team alongside the rest of the core. And it just simply hasn't happened. Listen, Pete Alonso doesn't inspire any confidence in me that he can go out there and deliver consistently and win the Mets ball games if it comes down to him and put this team on his back when it matters. He's done it before on a handful of occasions, but it just simply isn't consistent enough, and it's not conducive to him getting a large contract that he wants. I'm not attached to any players on this Mets roster. Maybe if your name is not named Christian Scott or Francisco Alvarez. Everybody else, if you're able to find a home for them, cool. If that's what it needs to take and that's what the front office deems necessary to get this franchise and start the process of getting them out of the gutter and maybe starting more of a rebuild, so be it. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, man. I'm not attached to anybody. I haven't seen this core take over me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's mess. I mean, great point. This is what we're talking about. And I was sort of still on the fence in terms of like making that final judgment this offseason. This was kind of like my last straw type of season. Rob, I knew that you were deep in the weeds in terms of that take, even going back to last season, that this core was not it, and they were weak mentally. They were weak in terms of on-field production, so more power to you. I was going to give them this season to see if things turned around because I think the roster was set up in a way that gave this team just enough tools, maybe not all the tools in the world, but just enough tools to potentially be that core and surprise the fans and be like, okay, we believe in these guys. These guys can actually help us from here on out. But they've inspired no confidence in me. They've inspired no confidence in this actual fan base. If you're watching what we're seeing on the screen and you're not in La La Land, I agree with you. There's big changes that are going to happen regardless of where the Mets end up, whether they're a wild card team at the end of the day or not. There are big changes that are going to happen. And Steve Cohen let out a tweet today, whether he meant it in that way or not, as a precursor to that. And a lot of fans are not going to be happy. But guess what? A lot of those same fans are attached to these players. They are. And I get it. That's sort of like fan base. Fandom is kind of like give or take in that situation. There's people who fan for a lot of players individually, and then it's team after that. And then there's other fans that are team first, whatever it takes to have the team get out of the gutter, because the Mets are in the gutter right now. This is rock bottom in 2024 on May 15th. It really is. Do what's good for the greater good of the team. Root for the team that's on the front, not whoever's name is on the back.
And
I think that people just think, and I think people need to just start taking and listen, you're in love with Pete Alonso, more power to you. He's got some of the accolades, he's got the home runs, et cetera, but has that translated to winning more often than not? I get that people are in love with Francisco Lindor. Same situation applies, because it's not about Francisco Lindor versus Pete Alonso. It's about this core and what they can do together. And guess what? They haven't done much together. And that's just a simple bottom of the line from your 3 and 4 hitters over the last couple seasons. So that's my honest take on it. That's my rant after watching this 10-5 disgusting loss. And the Phillies are definitely a better team, absolutely. But you take a look at the box score that we have right in front of us, 10-5, 10 hits to 9, which is pretty close, and the Phillies committed 2 errors. So what is the difference of 5 runs there? It's called not being in the game and making stupid mistakes. Actually, the Mets did have a couple errors. I think it's not translated into that box score, but you know what I mean. Not keeping your head in the game like Jeff McNeil, like Pete Alonso, like Francisco Lindor there. The Phillies' bottom line capitalized on the Mets' mistakes, and they just capitalize, and the Mets can't capitalize on the opposing team's mistakes. They just don't do it. They refuse to do it. They get handed gifts. They get handed gifts on a silver platter, time in and time out. And you know what they do? They strike out 3 times with bases loaded, no outs. And they're like, no, we don't want a big lead. We'll be comfortable with a 3-1 lead. We don't want the 5th or 6th run. We're going to keep you in this ball game.
Yep.
It's sickening, man. It's sickening.
Yep. And
that's
on
what
top
I
of
got.
that lack of runs, adding on runs, it puts your pitchers in situations where they need to be perfect, like I said earlier. And look, Hayden said it, and it's saying that you're losing a 40 home run guy. Let me ask you something, guys. What have the Angels won with Mike Trout? Right? Are Angel fans going to be excited that Mike Trout's going to be a career Angel? Great. You know when you're going to be happy? When they retire his number and he comes back in 15 years and you retire his number and you have a day for him. That's what Pete Alonso is going to be. And you know what you can do? That 40 home run guy and 120 RBIs, guess what? Give me 2 guys that hit 25 home runs and 90 RBI, 85 RBIs, and that extends your lineup. That bats 260, 270. That's how you fix it. And a couple of power guys who actually come up and don't hit solo home runs. Because the problem with Pete Alonso, and I talked about this, and JoJo brought it up. He's a Phillies fan, by the way, Chris, in the chat. He brought up Rhys Hoskins.
I couldn't tell, JoJo. I didn't know you were a Phillies fan. I didn't have any clue.
So he's saying Rhys Hoskins is raking in Milwaukee. We should have got him. Chris, you can vouch for this. During Mets Hot Stove, who did I say the Mets can get?
Yeah, we both talked about it. Yeah.
Rhys Hoskins. And not because I don't like Pete Alonso, but you know what? I've seen Rhys Hoskins do it in bigger spots, in clutch situations, a lot more than Pete Alonso. And he's actually, I wouldn't say better than Pete Alonso defensively because that's not fair to Pete Alonso. But the fact of the matter is, you can't keep on bringing back the same people, right? You think trading Lindor, say if the Mets find a way to trade Lindor, is that going to make Alonso the de facto guaranteed leader of a team? Because I don't see that. Like, I don't think Pete Alonso is the guy to take this team to the promised land. I just don't.
I don't see it in him either. I think he's probably like a 3rd or 4th best player on a championship team, not the 1st or 2nd best, maybe. You know what I mean? Like I dwindle it down to like basketball NBA terms when you talk about like superstars leading teams. And I know baseball is a whole different ball game. There's 9 positions on the field, etc. But Pete Alonso just doesn't remind me of that guy that you need to lead when it comes to crunch time, like Jalen Brunson is for the Knicks. That's my best comparison. Pete Alonso is not Jalen Brunson, man. Not even in the slightest.
Well, I want to bring up Hayden's comment here. He's saying, Pete Alonso has no protection. Well, if he has no protection, then why is he hitting 40 and 120 then? Because then he shouldn't be hitting that. So it's not that he doesn't put up the numbers, but I want everybody to go and check Pete Alonso's stats. I really do. And Hayden, I know you're one of the biggest Pete Alonso fans that I know. Right? It's hard to find somebody bigger. But go look at his stats. I know you're a big stats guy. You're a big analytical guy. Go to the biggest numbers that Pete Alonso has throughout his career when the Mets are in contention. Go back because I checked this the other day. They're bad. Mediocre at best. Slightly above average when they're in contention. Anything after a certain point. Now, you can decide when the team's out of it. Right? You can talk about July of last year, maybe even middle of June of last year. And keep on going back to year after year after year. Even in 2022, Look who drove that team. Wasn't Pete Alonso. It was Starling Marte. It was Escobar in the second half. Because where was Pete Alonso when Marte went down, right? He was the only one. But if you're going to consider him, oh, well, we need him. He's the face of the franchise. Well, the face of the franchise was nowhere to be found in September of 2022 when they were one of the best teams in baseball, when Marte, who was their best clutch hitter in that year, went out. They couldn't score runs. And that involves Lindor as well. But we're talking about Pete Alonso right now. That's the problem. That is the problem. Because you know what? Bryce Harper didn't start off well with the Phillies. But guess what? They still see Harper as the face of this franchise. Right? It's not Stott. It's not other guys. It's Harper. Right?
And Easy, this is the best thing that I think, and this is where I was going with this. I dropped a podcast episode about it on my channel. I talked about it on the pregame stream yesterday about the rankings of the Mets hitters with runners in scoring position, and Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor are abysmal. Your 3 and 4 hitters, obviously before tonight, because Pete Alonso got moved to the 2 spot, not even in the top 100 in baseball. You got DJ Stewart at 97. Only 2 hitters in terms of the batting average category with runners in scoring position coming into yesterday's ball game were in the top 100 in all of the MLB. Brandon Nimmo is at number 30. And I know if you've been a part of this channel, if you've listened in on the pregame yesterday, or maybe my podcast episode that I released, then you already heard this. But Brandon Nimmo being ranked 30th in the league with runners in scoring position in the batting average category, and then DJ Stewart all the way down at 97, being your only 2 players in the top 100, and Francisco Lindor being number 200. He's ranked 200th, and Pete Alonso being ranked 165th is a problem. You're not going to win ball games that way, especially with those 2 guys that you count on being the juggernauts of this lineup in the middle of the lineup. It's not going to happen.
No.
It's not going to happen. It's bad baseball.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to just put Pete Alonso in a nutshell by himself because it's not fair to him. Because, yes, he has numbers. But we can talk about Lindor. Just like Met fans have no problem bringing up Lindor, padding his stats. Alonso does the same thing. Look, I keep on talking about the core. The core is those 4 guys we continue to mention over and over again. McNeil, Nimmo, Alonso, and Lindor. I put Lindor in there because he was around that right in the middle when Alonso just came up not too long after that, and then McNeil right before Alonso. Fact of the matter, and Nimmo's been right around there too. The fact of the matter is that this core is not good enough. And there's certain changes you can make within this deadline and the offseason. And the 2 obvious ones is McNeil and Alonso. That's why, look, if Alonso had a 10-year deal, I wouldn't be talking about trading Alonso. Like, you know, if it was Nimmo that didn't have a contract, I'd be talking about Nimmo. The fact of the matter is you can't bring back the same core. I can care less if you bring Juan Soto, this guy, that guy. The fact of the matter is if this team wins, Juan Soto's not going to get all the credit. It's going to be the core, right? Just like 2022, we gave accolades and credit to Alonso, Lindor, Nimmo, McNeil, right? When things got bad, Max Scherzer, it was this guy. Like, the pitching wasn't good. But if you look into that game, they had opportunities early in the game before they got blown out where the offense didn't do nothing. Like, it comes back to the same thing. How many more guys you need to put around the core that the organization and the fans, let's be honest, wants to keep around for a long term? Nimmo, you can't get rid of him. He's so happy and smiles all the time. McNeil, batting champ. You can't get. How many times did we fight with fans about Jeff McNeil over and over again? He's a bust. He's done. Let's stop it with Jeff McNeil. Same thing. Look, Nimmo is what he is. He's a guy. I don't even know what he is anymore. He used to be a good leadoff hitter. He used to get on base for the guys behind him. And now he decides to be a little bit, he likes to hit for average a little bit more. His walks is down, his strikeouts are up. I don't know what Nimmo is. I don't even know if he's a leadoff hitter anymore. The problem is this core doesn't fit together either. Like CP said earlier during the game. I don't know what it is anymore, Chris. It's just frustrating. And we're going to have to go through at least another 40 games to see where they're at wild card wise, at least third wild card wise, before we talk about clearing house.
You use VL Lugo in the chat saying that Nimmo doesn't hit. He does. I mean, he does. Nimmo does hit. I know the average isn't up to par this season, but I just told you that he's ranked 30th in all the MLB. The Mets' best hitter with runners in scoring position. He was hitting 375 with runners in scoring position,
And
so
he's
he
leading
does
off.
hit. What was that?
And he's
Leading off. Yeah. Oh, I don't think Nimmo should be a leadoff hitter, anyways. You know my opinion on that.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I don't think he should be a leadoff hitter anyways, especially with the way this lineup's constructed. I don't think he should be. I think he should be in the middle of the order because he's one of the better Mets hitters, right? But that's neither here nor there. I don't think that change is going to happen this season. Obviously, you're probably stuck with Brandon Nimmo as well. I don't think he's basically. I don't think he's going anywhere either, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going anywhere. So I think that transition to a middle of the order bat is going to happen regardless. Maybe depends on what Francisco Lindor does from here on out. But I think that maybe Lindor is going to be maybe you flip flop them. Maybe that's the change you need. I don't know, but I think that this Mets team is in much bigger trouble in terms of the bad baseball category and the bad plays, the bad fundamentals, not keeping your head in the game, and one simple lineup change. Like flip flopping two guys in the order is not going to change that at all.
Yeah. We can do flip.
At all.
Sorry, good.
No. I know. I was just saying. Yeah. I don't know what your question is here, USVL leading off. Like, I don't care where Nimmo hits, to be honest with you. He's gonna hit regardless, and he's gonna drive in runs. He's also coincidentally the guy who has the most RBIs on the team in the leadoff spot, which is phenomenal. That's like almost unheard of, to be honest with you. His OBP is at what? I think it's probably taken a dip here in the last couple of games because he's taken an 0 for 8 in his last 8 at bats, I'm pretty sure, with the walk it mixed in between. But it was at 379 just 2 days ago. Yeah. So he's getting on base. Obviously, the hits are coming sporadically, although he did catch fire here as of recent. Before the last 2 games, he was swinging the bat really well. But most importantly for me is that when you have a situation with runners in scoring position, I don't want to be able to trust my leadoff hitter because I don't think he's going to be that anymore. Like you said, Rob, trusting your leadoff hitter with runners in scoring position over your 3 and 4 hitters is absolutely asinine. It's a problem. If not Nimmo, who do you think is a better leadoff? Francisco Lindor. He's proved that in Cleveland. He's proved that he's a better leadoff hitter.
Yeah.
He did. And I know that he could be maybe a different player than he was back then, but I really do think that Lindor is a better fit for the leadoff category until one of the young guys comes up, whether it's Acuna, whether it's Gilbert, or whether it's Williams, whoever slots into that role. But it doesn't matter right now because the Mets really, the leadoff position, whoever's leading off really isn't the biggest question mark with this team. It's everything else. Everything else.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't mind Lindor lead off. I mean, might as well try it. I mean, they already, mess with the lineup a little bit. I mean, mess with it a little bit more. And Easy brought up, I'm harder on Alonso because he wants to break the bank. It's not even about just breaking the bank. It's just the fact that you can't, every time they ask a question about being in New York, you say you love it here, you want to be here, you love the fans, you love the atmosphere. You say it all the time. And, you turn down a contract that I think was very fair contract for I don't even think the Mets are getting a deal out of that extension. I think they're giving you a lot more than you deserve, to be honest with you. And I thought it was a really fair offer. It makes me feel like I don't think he wants to be here. And look, that's okay. That's his prerogative. He has that right. And I will never get on a player for, look, if you don't want to be here, you don't want to be here. But don't bullshit your way through the media because the media, treats you like gold and is soft with you and treat Lindor like a dog and treat you like, the best things in sliced bread. Like they're soft on you. But don't keep on going to the media and saying you want to be here and basically show no signs like giving rejecting an offer that was very, very player friendly, not really team friendly, because I would have given him a 7-year deal. And just shut up. Don't say nothing. That's it. So, Chris, I want to get your final thoughts here. Mets lose 10-5. There's not much to say about this game, so it's pointless to really talk about this game because we talked about it over and over again. Going forward, there's about 45 games until the trade deadline. I think it's like 91, 92 games. I talked about this. This season is going to be a 90-game season. half a season is where it's going to be do or die, buy or sell. Going forward, what do you want to see from certain players that you might want to see do something here? Maybe the Mets have a chance to turn this around and be buyers at the deadline.
I think this is general advice. Whatever Eric Chavez is teaching you, don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, I don't know what else to say at this point.
That's a great answer. That's fucking great.
I don't know what else to say. Like, I want an offense that is taking meaningful swings and is being aggressive. And this Mets lineup, we said this word time and time again. It really is the word when it comes to the Mets, is timid swings. It's not good swings. The process is all jacked up. And I want to see more aggressive swings. You see the Atlanta Braves. They're swinging with a purpose. They're swinging to hit the ball out of the park. They're swinging to hit it gap to gap. They're not swinging to sneak a ground ball through the right side. Although sometimes that's how it works out because it's baseball and you catch the bat, you catch the ball at the wrong end of the bat, and sometimes it sneaks through. I understand all that good stuff. But the process is just like, when I look at a team with the naked eye, you look at the Phillies, you look at the Braves, you look at the Dodgers, they swing with intents and purposes to do damage and to do bad things to the baseball. And the New York Mets lineup in general does not. JD Martinez, I think, does. I think maybe he's one of the only players, maybe Brandon Nimmo's in that category. But all in all, it's very scared, very timid swings that I'm seeing from this lineup. And guess what they say? Scared money don't make any money. And right now, the Mets aren't making any money. Jeff McNeil's already made his money, but Pete Alonso hasn't made his money yet. So if you want to make your money, Pete Alonso, stop being scared. That's all I got to say. Yeah. And the walks, man, the walks need to be better. The walks need to be better. We talk about it time and time again that the pitching has been all in all okay, keeping this team in ball games, but they need to be better. Yeah. So that's what I need to see. That's what I need to see. This offense, though, really needs to come around. If the Mets, to answer your question, are going to be buyers at the deadline, by some stretch of the imagination, they need to take better swings. They need to take more purposeful swings. And that's what I'm going to leave it at.
Absolutely. And JoJo, I'll never go on that Phillies bandwagon. I'll shit on the Phillies before I even look at them. And yeah, fuck the Braves. Absolutely. We're on board with that. I just had to say that in the comment. Here, it's very simple. The main guys, play to the back of your baseball cards, and we'll see where you're at 90-plus games into the season right before the deadline. It's just that simple. Because if they play to the back of their baseball cards, this team will be a lot better off than what they are right now. The reason why they're losing is because the guys that need to be putting in the work and playing to the back of their baseball cards aren't doing it right now. And if it wasn't for the supporting cast, we might be one of the worst teams in baseball. So the guys that I've been talking about, play to the back of your baseball cards, and let's see where we're at come trade deadline. Because if we're within 3 games, maybe even 4 games, I would not be shocked if the Mets try not go crazy and sell the farm for a bat or an arm, whatever, but do some small things to make this team a little bit better. But if they don't, it's a fire sale. I don't give a fuck if it's Pete Alonso. I don't care if it's Nimmo, Lindor. Name a guy on the team. I do not care. Get them the fuck out of here and get the players that David Stearns believes in. Because as of right now, if I gave him truth serum, David Stearns, I don't think believes in anybody on this team, to be quite honest with you.
I agree with you.
I don't think that's like a far-fetched opinion. It's not his guys. I'm not saying he's going to make 100% turnover, because that's very hard to do, because he wants to win next year. In my opinion, this is the first time he's going to have a real stamp on this team in 2025. We'll see, but play it back to your baseball cards and give this team, give Stearns a chance to be hesitant at the deadline. Because if you don't, I don't want to hear like the players made a fuss of it last year when Billy Epper made the decision to sell, and they were mad. Yet they were mad at everybody else but themselves, who put them in that position and Billy Epper in that position. Don't put Stearns in his position to make it easy. Make it difficult for him. That's all I got to say, Chris. So with that said, we're over 3 hours and 20 minutes into the watch party. It was a fun one, I guess, because me and Chris are funny guys. You know, it wasn't the Mets. I mean, they played like it was a joke, but we tried to make the best of it. I have over 100 in the chat after the game, 130 actually. So I guess you wanted to hear our misery. We appreciate it. With that said, Mets lose 10-5. They're on to another game. Unfortunately, we have a lot of these left. We got embarrassed by the Phillies. Let's be honest about that. So with that said, another in-game live in the books. Hopefully we have many, many more of this and hopefully better games to go. With that said, have a great night, guys. Let's go Mets. Chris, you have a great night. Everybody in the chat, have a great night. We'll see you next time. Good night, guys. Let's go Mets.
Night. Let's go Mets.
Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets